Chapter 3481, I'm Not Your Peer. The first treasure Lin Moyu chose was a branch-like object that looked like a withered vine. This was the remains of a dead origin spirit vein. When it was still alive, it was a 7th grade origin spirit vein, but now only its remnants remained. Remnants of origin spirit veins were rare in the world, especially high-grade ones like this were even rarer. Although rarity increases value, the remnants of origin spirit veins had no practical use, so their value was limited, not even as valuable as an 8th level Dao Venerable treasure. Lin Moyu chose it because he planned to feed it to the world tree. What was useless to others wasn't necessarily useless to him. He had fed it several times before, and now low-grade origin spirit vein remnants were no longer useful. The world tree needed high-grade origin spirit vein remnants. Lin Moyu continued to pick and choose in the treasure vault, skipping almost all the treasures. He didn't even give a second glance to 9th level Dao Venerable treasures. The Immortal Lotus Holy Maiden followed behind Lin Moyu, feeling strange. She noticed that Lin Moyu seemed to have no interest in treasures at all. Suddenly, Lin Moyu pointed at an object and said, "This one." The Immortal Lotus Holy Maiden didn't even look, directly opening the formation for Lin Moyu and handing the item to him. After doing this, she finally looked at what the treasure was. The inscription beside it said this item was called the Outer Realm Stone, something that had fallen from outside the origin continent. It was a spiritual material. However, this spiritual material couldn't be refined or used for equipment refining, so it was ultimately placed here. According to the assessment, its grade should be around the 8th level. Origin spirit vein remnants, spiritual materials, so Mr. Lin likes these kinds of things, the Immortal Lotus Holy Maiden asked softly. Lin Moyu chuckled, treasures are of no use to me. I personally prefer these novel items. Does Immortal Lotus know if there are any origin spirit vein world level origin crystals or world gems in the treasure vault? The Immortal Lotus Holy Maiden said with a hint of apology, to be honest, I've only been here twice with the Holy Lord. I'm not sure if there are items Mr. Lin mentioned in the treasure vault. Lin Moyu smiled, no worries. If that's the case, then I'll trouble Immortal Lotus to accompany me as we look. I'll search slowly. The Immortal Lotus Holy Maiden said, it's no trouble, this is what I should do. Mr. Lin, I have a question I'd like to ask. Lin Moyu smiled, go ahead. The Immortal Lotus Holy Maiden asked, may I know what cultivation realm Mr. Lin is at now, and how you cultivate? She knew Lin Moyu's realm was higher than hers. She remembered that during the genius competition, Lin Moyu wasn't even a Dao Venerable yet. Now, after just a few years, Lin Moyu's cultivation had already surpassed hers. Calculating his age, Lin Moyu should be less than 3,000 years old. Thinking about this, the Immortal Lotus Holy Maiden felt a chill all over her body. Was this cultivation speed something an ordinary person could achieve? Lin Moyu smiled, I just recently advanced to the 5th level of Dao Venerable. The Immortal Lotus Holy Maiden was still startled. 5th level of Dao Venerable, was it that easy? Then she heard Lin Moyu continue, my path isn't suitable for you. I walk between life and death, gaining opportunities while also risking perishing at any moment. The danger is too great. Actually, with your temperament, the most suitable path is to progress step by step within the ancient Lotus Holy Land, improving your cultivation. In fact, among your peers, your cultivation is already far ahead. In the next genius competition, no one will be able to compete with you for first place. The Immortal Lotus Holy Maiden said softly, how can I be far ahead? Compared to Mr. Lin, I'm far behind. Lin Moyu laughed heartily, I said among peers. I don't count. The Immortal Lotus Holy Maiden was struck again, sighing softly, that's right, Mr. Lin is much younger than me. Lin Moyu said, cultivation isn't about who walks faster, but who walks further. Take each step solidly, and your future achievements won't be low. The elders in the Holy Land might have reached their limit, but that shouldn't be your limit. You have great potential in the future. The Immortal Lotus Holy Maiden smiled, thank you for your kind words, Mr. Lin. I dare not ask for too much. If I could achieve what the elders have, I would be satisfied. Lin Moyu smiled slightly, not saying more. He wasn't just saying this casually. He could see that the fortune on the Immortal Lotus Holy Maiden surpassed that of the elders, and could even match the ancient Lotus ancestor. As long as nothing unexpected happened, the Immortal Lotus Holy Maiden should have a chance to touch the Great Dao realm. After searching in the treasure vault for half a day, Lin Moyu finally found 2 more things he wanted. A world gem, and 2 high-grade 7th level world-class origin crystals. These 2 items were good for the Great World. Lin Moyu had calculated that when he reached the 7th level of Tao Venerable, he could make the Great World advance again, becoming an 8th grade world. On the origin continent, almost no one had cultivated a boundary sea world to the 8th grade. He was unique in this regard. Lin Moyu wanted to see what amazing things would happen after cultivating the Great World into a 9th grade world. At that time, the king of the Boundary Sea had said that cultivating the Boundary Sea world to advance together with oneself was the most correct method. This meant that in prehistoric times, someone had done this and succeeded. But now, with resources scarce, trying to do this had become very difficult. Lin Moyu and the Immortal Lotus Holy Maiden spent a whole day in the treasure vault, finally looking through everything but didn't find any origin spirit veins. Lin Moyu knew the ancient Lotus Holy Land didn't lack origin spirit veins. Under this ancient land, there were 3 8th grade origin spirit veins, and besides these, several 6th and 7th grade origin spirit veins. Once, the ancient Lotus Holy Land even had a 9th grade origin spirit vein, but unfortunately, during the origin catastrophe, the ancient Lotus ancestor fused with it and shattered it. Leaving the treasure vault, the Immortal Lotus Holy Maiden escorted Lin Moyu back. Seeing little May cultivating, Lin Moyu didn't disturb her. These days she had eaten many good things, all heavenly and earthly treasures. At this moment, little May was digesting and absorbing their power. Little May's aura was constantly rising, already reaching the peak of the true God realm. Along the way, little May had seized every moment to cultivate. Although she played and frolicked, her cultivation hadn't fallen behind. Lin Moyu could see that this time, little May should be able to break through the true God realm. He leisurely made tea for himself, part of his consciousness entering his soul world, throwing the origin spirit vein remnant to the world tree. The world tree transmitted happy thoughts, taking the origin spirit vein remnant and quickly burying it at its roots. The world tree trembled and became sturdier, its trunk and branches thickening simultaneously, its leaves becoming larger and denser. Many spiritual flowers bloomed, and fruits on the world tree formed and ripened one by one. The soul world was filled with spiritual chi. The silver tree sap became more and more abundant, gradually evolving from a lake towards a sea. After absorbing the 7th grade origin spirit vein remnant, the world tree became stronger, but still hadn't transformed, remaining in its growth period. The growth conditions for the world tree were harsh. Lin Moyu knew he couldn't force it and could only take it step by step. Then he threw the spiritual material to infinite fusion and took back the premium 8th grade origin crystals that had already been synthesized from infinite fusion. With this batch of origin crystals, he wouldn't lack materials for drawing divine runes for a while. Infinite fusion happily circled around Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu smiled and said, "I hope you can synthesize 9th grade origin crystals in the future." Only Skeleton Hell was left alone, not getting any benefits. My Patreon is now up. Go to email protected translate Toki. Remove the @ symbol and type a. Chapter 3482, 3482. Chapter 3482, It seems your teacher can't be a good person. Skeleton Hell had reached a bottleneck. Even if fed with an origin spirit vein, it could at most only improve to its current limit, unable to break through the bottleneck. Lin Moyu could feel that Skeleton Hell's bottleneck was himself. He was the one limiting Skeleton Hell. However, for Skeleton Hell to truly become powerful and transform into a real hell, it still needed to find that scattered fragment of the Hellgate somewhere unknown. Otherwise, Skeleton Hell would forever remain just Skeleton Hell, unable to evolve into a true hell. In the vast world, Lin Moyu didn't know where to look for the scattered Hellgate. Moreover, he was also worried about whether the Hellgate had already evolved on its own. Even hell fragments could evolve on their own, let alone the Hellgate. And it was far stronger than hell fragments. If it had truly evolved on its own, Lin Moyu didn't know if he could merge with it. This was an extremely difficult problem. Lin Moyu could only temporarily put it aside. He took out the formation materials obtained from the ancient Lotus ancestor and began to study them. He had already finished and thoroughly memorized Ji-Yu Hanyu's materials. What he lacked now was only practice. The ancient Lotus ancestor said that Ji-Yu Hanyu was just a beginner-level formation master. But the formations Ji-Yu Hanyu could set up were already comparable to today's 7th grade formations. This showed how strong formation masters were in prehistoric times, far beyond what today's formation masters could compare to. The ancient Lotus ancestor was an intermediate-level formation master, so the formations she could set up were even more powerful. Now looking at it, it was indeed so. According to the records in the materials, with suitable materials, the ancient Lotus ancestor could set up formations exceeding the 9th grade. That kind of formation was called a Great Tao formation, already on par with the Great Tao realm. But such formations were too powerful to be set up on the origin continent. Lin Moyu thought of that formation at the bottom of the Boundary Sea. That formation was very special, being both a formation and a seal. Thinking back now, its grade should be at the peak of the 9th grade. Adding the special seal and some special materials, its effect should be able to exceed the 9th grade, but not by much. That formation was already the limit of formations on the origin continent. Lin Moyu believed that it wasn't that the formation setter couldn't set up a stronger formation, but that they knew they couldn't make it stronger, otherwise it would exceed the limit the origin continent could bear. Looking at it this way, the elder who set up that formation must have had an understanding and mastery of formations far beyond imagination. Could it be someone from the Great Tao formation sect? It seems very likely. Lin Moyu drew inferences from one instance to another. Looking at the formation materials given by the ancient Lotus ancestor, he associated them with the Great Tao formation sect. One by one, formation knowledge was absorbed and digested. His understanding of formations rapidly deepened. Lin Moyu felt that if given some more time, not too long, a year, at most 2 years, his formation skills would surpass Jiyu Hanyu's. If given a few more years, he could reach the level of the ancient Lotus ancestor. He didn't know how long it took Jiyu Hanyu and the ancient Lotus ancestor to learn formations to this level, but it was certainly not as fast as himself. His talent in divine rune formations was indeed astonishing. Time passed unknowingly, and no one came to disturb them where they were staying. 4 days later, the Immortal Lotus Holy Maiden came again, this time bringing a small box. The Immortal Lotus Holy Maiden handed the box to Lin Moyu. Mr. Lin, this is from the ancestor for you. Lin Moyu opened the box in front of the Immortal Lotus Holy Maiden. A strong wave of origin essence rushed out. The box contained a sealed origin spirit vein, and it was a 7th grade origin spirit vein. This origin spirit vein came from the ancient Lotus Holy Land, one of the several origin spirit veins of the ancient Lotus Holy Land. He knew that he had asked a question in the treasure vault, and the Immortal Lotus Holy Maiden had relayed his words. Then the ancient Lotus ancestor had extracted a 7th grade origin spirit vein for him. Lin Moyu smiled, the elder is really generous. The Immortal Lotus Holy Maiden said, the ancestor said that there's no way to repay a life-saving grace, this is nothing. Lin Moyu closed the box and accepted it straightforwardly, please convey a message to the ancestor for me. Tell her I understand her meaning. If there's an opportunity in the future, Lin Moyu will help if he can. The Immortal Lotus Holy Maiden immediately said, I will convey the message word for word. In 2 days, it will be the Ancient Lotus Immortal Banquet. These days, some guests have arrived, including some of Mr. Lin's acquaintances. Does Mr. Lin want to meet them? Lin Moyu smiled and said, there's no rush. We can meet when the Immortal Banquet starts. Besides, if I go now, I'll have to keep calling everyone, elder, which I find annoying. The Immortal Lotus Holy Maiden laughed softly, I understand. Then when the Immortal Banquet starts, I'll come to escort Mr. Lin. After the Immortal Lotus Holy Maiden left, Lin Moyu sighed, they're forcefully pushing this on me, it's really troublesome. I wanted to sever karmic ties, but ended up creating more and more. Little May had also finished her cultivation and came over to sit down and make tea for Lin Moyu. Teacher doesn't want to meet those people because you're afraid of creating more karmic ties. Lin Moyu smiled and said, that's one of the reasons. Look, I wanted to return to the Eastern continent, but there have been events all along the way, delaying my return time again and again. Little May said, teacher probably doesn't just want to return to the Eastern continent, right? Having stayed with Lin Moyu for a long time, she naturally knew that Lin Moyu must have other matters. Lin Moyu took a sip of tea, indeed, there are some other things to do. The time is almost right. Little May rested her chin on her hand, looking at Lin Moyu, teacher, I feel you've become somewhat different. Lin Moyu made an, oh, sound, how has your teacher become different? Little May thought for a moment, teacher was different when in the Buddhist race compared to now. It seems to have started from when you drove away withering and flourishing elder. Teacher has become different. Before, I felt teacher was at the same height as little May, but now teacher seems to be standing at a different height, looking at things as if from above. Little May's big eyes looked at Lin Moyu, speaking very seriously. Lin Moyu flipped through his memories, feeling that he had indeed changed somewhat. As he encountered higher and higher levels, sitting as equals with 9th level elders, communicating equally with great Tao realm beings, his way of looking at problems also changed accordingly. He began to gradually understand what it meant that heaven and earth are not benevolent, treating all things as straw dogs. Perhaps in the eyes of the great Tao, there wasn't much difference between a powerful great Tao realm being and a tiny ant. What the great Tao truly cared about were grander things. And what he now focused on had also become more high level. Unknowingly, he had begun to look down on heaven and earth, no longer feeling sorrow for heaven and sympathy for people, but looking at how to do things more beneficial to himself. This change couldn't be said to be good or bad, it was just related to his future goals, depending on whether he wanted to be a great good person or become an existence transcending heaven and earth. Lin Moyu's Tao heart was firm. With just a slight thought, he already had an answer. His actions, his thoughts, all aligned with his Tao heart. Whatever the Tao heart thought, that's what he would do. He only needed to have a clear conscience, not caring about other things. The corners of his mouth couldn't help but lift slightly. It seems your teacher can't be a good person. Little May said, but to us, teacher is truly a good person. Lin Moyu laughed heartily, a good person. That's enough then. ko-fi.com/translate-toki only donate if you want to. My Patreon is now up, go to email protected translate toki. Remove the @ symbol and type a. Chapter 3483, 3483. Chapter 3483. Please show some restraint. Lin Moyu only wanted to be a good person to those close to him. As for the life and death of others, he didn't want to care too much. Once, he fought for the human race in the small world, and later in the great world, he slaughtered hundreds of races for the sake of humanity. In one massacre after another, blood turned into rivers of stars, and Lin Moyu killed with a clear conscience. Because he had people he wanted to protect, this was his belief, which had never changed. Now he still had people to protect. The difference from before was that his position was getting higher and higher, and his perspective on things changed accordingly. Protection didn't mean protecting everyone. He only protected those he wanted to protect, those who trusted him. Everyone had their own destiny, and he respected everyone's destiny. A higher perspective brought higher thoughts, subtly influencing Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu didn't know if his current changes were right or wrong, good or bad, but none of that mattered. What mattered most was that he still had a clear conscience and a lucid Tao heart. Lin Moyu handed a cup of tea to Little May, have some tea. Little May giggled and accepted the teacup without hesitation, thank you, teacher. Little May will work harder. Lin Moyu nodded. In this life, you have unparalleled advantages. Entering the great Tao won't be a problem. Little May said. Little May understands. Lin Moyu suddenly turned his head to look outside. Bright light shone in from outside, passing through the lotus-shaped window cracks, forming streaks of light, very beautiful. At this moment, a piece of flesh appeared in Lin Moyu's hand. This was the flesh of a 7th-level Tao Venerable. He said calmly, sneaking around has to be paid for. Origin level technique, corpse explosion. As his words fell, the flesh dissipated. In these few days, many people had successively arrived at the ancient Lotus Holy Land. The ancient Lotus Immortal Banquet, held once every 10,000 years, was about to begin. Those elders from holy lands and sects who received invitations had all rushed over. The ancient Lotus Immortal Banquet wasn't just about delicious food. It used heavenly and earthly treasures. After eating, not only would it greatly benefit cultivation, but these benefits could also last for a very long time. Moreover, several delicacies in the Immortal Banquet had the effect of improving talent and increasing one's potential. This effect was quite extraordinary. Not only elders came, but each invited elder could also bring one disciple or relative. This time, the ancient Lotus Holy Land had sent out 36 invitations to the 9 top powers of the southern continent. If nothing unexpected happened, 36 9th-level elders would come, along with 36 disciples or relatives, totaling 72 people. Adding Lin Moyu and Little May, plus the people from the ancient Lotus Holy Land, this ancient Lotus Immortal Banquet would have about 100 participants. The ancient Lotus Holy Land had arranged accommodations for the arriving guests. Among them, the Three Spirits sect was closest to the ancient Lotus Holy Land, so their people arrived earliest. 3 ninth-level elders came from the Three Spirits sect, each bringing one disciple, totaling 6 people. The 3 spirits of the Three Spirits sect were Heaven, Earth, and Human. Their 3 elders were also called the Heaven Spirit Elder, Earth Spirit Elder, and Human Spirit Elder. At this moment, the 3 ninth-level elders sat around a brazier. The Heaven Spirit Elder was using a secret technique to explore the surrounding area. In front of him was a projection, showing everything he explored. The Heaven Spirit Elder said in a low voice, "This ancient Lotus Immortal banquet has been brought forward by a full 1,000 years. There must be something strange about it. I'm familiar with Wood Lotus Elder. When I talked to her earlier, her expression seemed overly excited. I wonder what happened in the ancient Lotus Holy Land." Under his secret technique exploration, the situations in various parts of the ancient Lotus Holy Land were displayed. The Earth Spirit Elder said, "This is after all the ancient Lotus Holy Land. Heaven Spirit, you need to be careful." The Heaven Spirit Elder said, "Don't worry, this is a secret technique left by our ancestor. No one except those at the Great Tao Realm can detect it. In today's world, besides those few, are there any Great Tao Realm beings?" The Earth Spirit Elder and Human Spirit Elder knew what he said was correct, but they still felt uneasy. Suddenly, the Heaven Spirit Elder's expression changed, and his whole body shuddered violently. His chest suddenly burst. The intense explosion sent the Heaven Spirit Elder flying upwards. His body was shimmering with light, suspended in midair. This explosion wasn't very strong and didn't injure him, but it interrupted his secret technique. The Human Spirit Elder asked, "Were we discovered?" The Heaven Spirit Elder nodded, his expression solemn. "We were discovered, but not by someone from the ancient Lotus Holy Land, but by a little fellow." He waved out the projection again, showing Lin Moyu's image. The Heaven Spirit Elder said, "I just saw him, and then I was discovered. According to my exploration just now, he's only at the 5th level of Tao Venerable." The Human Spirit Elder clearly didn't believe it. "That's impossible, right? Could you have seen wrong? Why don't you look again?" The Heaven Spirit Elder shook his head. "I didn't see wrong. Not only did he discover me, but he also gave me a warning. We can't look again. I just felt danger. He has the ability to kill me." Looking at Lin Moyu in the projection, the Human Spirit Elder and Earth Spirit Elder fell silent. They didn't doubt the Heaven Spirit Elder's words, but they could hardly believe that a little fellow at the 5th level of Tao Venerable actually had the ability to kill the Heaven Spirit Elder. Who would believe this if it were said out loud? Suddenly, a cold voice sounded in the Heaven Spirit Elder's ear, "I am the ancient Lotus Holy Lord. Please show some restraint, Heaven Spirit Elder." The Heaven Spirit Elder's expression became extremely interesting. The Human Spirit and Earth Spirit Elders asked in unison, "What happened?" The Heaven Spirit Elder smiled bitterly. "The ancient Lotus Holy Lord personally spoke, telling me to show some restraint. It seems our ancestors' secret technique isn't as reliable as we thought." The 3 looked at each other, feeling that the waters of the ancient Lotus Holy Land were far deeper than they had imagined. Over the next 2 days, more people continuously arrived, and the quiet ancient Lotus Holy Land became lively. The ancient Lotus Immortal banquet could be said to be the highest-end gathering in the human race of the southern continent. The participants were all 9th-level elders from top powers, and the disciples or relatives they brought were certainly genius-level figures. These people were either the geniuses of this generation or the geniuses of the previous generation. Without exception, they were all at least at the Tao Venerable realm. Those not at the Tao Venerable realm, the elders wouldn't even dare to bring out, as it would be too embarrassing. In the eyes of ordinary people, Tao Venerables were top-level big shots, but here, Tao Venerable was just the threshold for entry. On the day the Immortal banquet opened, the Immortal Lotus Holy Maiden personally came to guide Lin Moyu. The venue for the banquet had already been set up. A huge lotus flower floated in midair, surrounded by countless lotus flowers like stars in the sky, shining brightly. In the center of the banquet, numerous delicacies had been neatly arranged, currently covered by a formation, waiting for the banquet to begin. Lin Moyu and Little May's arrival seemed very abrupt among the 9th-level elders. Especially Little May, who was only at the Super God realm, attracted many gazes. At this time, the Immortal banquet hadn't started yet, and no one had taken their seats. Everyone was walking around, chatting and catching up. The Immortal Lotus Holy Maiden had to go guide others and temporarily excused herself. The three spirits elders looked at each other and said in low voices, "It's him." At this moment, Wang Tianling suddenly said, "It's fellow Taoist Lin." Asterisk 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 asterisk. There were some good suggestions, but none that really caught my interest. I'd greatly appreciate any additional suggestions or recommendations. Asterisk 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 asterisk. ko-fi.com/translate-toki only donate if you want to. My Patreon is now up. Go to email protected translate toki. Remove the @ symbol and type a. Chapter 3484, 3484. Chapter 3484, how about having them replace him? The Heaven Spirit Elder asked, Linger, do you know him? Wang Tianling was his grandson. The Heaven Spirit Elder hoped he could inherit his mantle, which is why he named him Wang Tianling. Wang Tianling was also quite promising, with excellent talent. He had already been confirmed as the heir to the Three Spirits sect. For this ancient Lotus Immortal banquet, he had brought Wang Tianling along to taste the Immortal feast, and perhaps there might even be some good opportunities. Wang Tianling said, at the previous genius competition in the Eastern continent, fellow Taoist Lin's performance was extremely dazzling. The Heaven Spirit Elder said, is he the person Linger mentioned before? I remember Linger saying at that time that he wasn't even a Tao Venerable. Wang Tianling said, that's right. Fellow Taoist Lin wasn't a Tao Venerable at that time. He went with Fairy Feng Yao from the Lu Feng Chamber of Commerce, but in test after test, fellow Taoist's performance surpassed everyone else's. The three elders of the Three Spirits sect looked at each other. How many years had passed since the genius competition? A little fellow who wasn't even a Tao Venerable back then had now become a 5th level Tao Venerable, while Wang Tianling, who was already at the 2nd level of Tao Venerable then, was still at the 2nd level of Tao Venerable now. Comparing like this, the Heaven Spirit Elder suddenly felt that his grandson's talent seemed not so extraordinary after all. The Heaven Spirit Elder said, do you know what his cultivation level is now? Wang Tianling shook his head, I'm not sure. I can't see through fellow Taoist Lin's cultivation. The Heaven Spirit Elder snorted lightly, he's already at the 5th level of Tao Venerable. Wang Tianling was clearly startled, his face full of disbelief, that's impossible. This kind of cultivation speed put all these geniuses to shame. The Heaven Spirit Elder patted Wang Tianling's shoulder and said earnestly, Linger, in this world, everyone's destiny is different. You may not be the strongest, but you can be considered top tier. Some things and some people can't be compared. If you really want to compare, then compare who can go further. With people like this, you can be friendly with them, but try not to become enemies. Understand? Wang Tianling nodded, I understand. At this moment, he saw the Rainbow Mist Holy Maiden from the 7-Star Holy Land and Dongfang Wuan from the Dongfang family going together to greet Lin Moyu. He said softly, Grandfather, I'll go say hello too. The Heaven Spirit Elder chuckled, go ahead. Take this with you to give to him, and help your grandfather convey a message. Say that your grandfather was very rude before in hopes he won't take offense. He took out an ancient-looking box and handed it to Wang Tianling. Wang Tianling took the box with a puzzled look. What's this for? The Heaven Spirit Elder said, don't ask too many questions. Just do as your grandfather says. Wang Tianling made an, oh, sound and walked over, not understanding. The Rainbow Mist Holy Maiden and Dongfang Wuan were chatting with Lin Moyu. It had been many years since they last met at the genius competition. Dongfang Wuan's realm was still at the 2nd level of Tao Venerable, but he was only half a step away from the 3rd level. He would probably break through after this immortal banquet. Among the geniuses of this generation, only the Immortal Lotus Holy Maiden had truly broken through to the 3rd level of Tao Venerable. Wang Tianling came over and greeted Lin Moyu, fellow Taoist Lin, long time no see. Lin Moyu also politely responded, fellow Taoist Wang, I hope you've been well. Wang Tianling said, "It's been many years since we last met. I really didn't expect fellow Taoist Lin's cultivation to reach such a level. Tianling truly admires you greatly." Lin Moyu smiled and said, "I was just a bit luckier." "There's nothing to admire." Wang Tianling said, "Luck is also part of one's strength. Fellow Taoist Lin doesn't need to be so modest." Saying this, he handed over the box in his hand. "This is from my grandfather for fellow Taoist Lin. He says he was very rude before and hopes fellow Taoist Lin won't take offense." Lin Moyu knew this was the Heaven Spirit Elder sending an apology through him, afraid that Lin Moyu would be angry about being spied on earlier. He calmly accepted it. "Please trouble fellow Taoist Wang to tell the Heaven Spirit Elder that I've already forgotten about this matter." The Rainbow Mist Holy Maiden and Dongfang Wuan didn't know what the two of them were talking about, but they could tell that the Heaven Spirit Elder had accidentally offended Lin Moyu and had even sent Wang Tianling with a gift to apologize. A 9th level elder actually had to apologize to Lin Moyu. This matter seemed too incredible to them. Moreover, Lin Moyu had an air of taking it for granted. This scene completely overturned their worldview. More people walked over. The Heavenly Illusion Holy Sun from the 10,000 Scenes Holy Land came side by side with another person. The Heavenly Illusion Holy Sun bowed to Lin Moyu. "Congratulations, fellow Taoist Lin. Your cultivation has greatly advanced. Even I can't see through it now." Lin Moyu smiled and said, "Heavenly Illusion Holy Sun is too kind. I'm only temporarily ahead. The future is unknown." Before the Heavenly Illusion Holy Sun could speak, the person who came with him sneered, "What you say is correct. The future is unknown. Not just the future, even now, who is strong and who is weak is equally unknown. Some people's cultivation might not be bad, but when it comes to real fighting, they're useless." Lin Moyu was surprised. He had just been modest. How had he provoked someone? Lin Moyu looked over. "Young one, what's your name?" Since the other party wasn't polite, Lin Moyu naturally wouldn't be polite either. The other party snorted coldly with great arrogance, not answering. The Heavenly Illusion Holy Sun looked a bit embarrassed. "This is my senior fellow apprentice, the Phantom God Holy Sun. He's also the heir to the 10,000 Scenes Holy Land." The Heavenly Illusion Holy Sun spoke these words with some helplessness. Everyone knew that the Heavenly Illusion Holy Sun had wanted to compete with the Phantom God Holy Sun for the position of heir to the 10,000 Scenes Holy Land. Now it seemed that the Heavenly Illusion Holy Sun had obviously failed. It was natural that he failed. The Heavenly Illusion Holy Sun was only at the 2nd level of Tao Venerable, while the Phantom God Holy Sun was already at the 4th level of Tao Venerable. As the strongest among the previous batch of geniuses, he indeed had the corresponding qualifications. Lin Moyu made an "oh" sound, "so it's the Phantom God Holy Sun." The Phantom God Holy Sun, with a hint of arrogance, looked at Lin Moyu as if looking down from above. "I've heard Heavenly Illusion mention you before. He said you had extraordinary talent, overwhelming everyone at the genius competition, not a Tao Venerable yet surpassing Tao Venerables. For your cultivation to improve to the 5th level of Tao Venerable in such a short time, I suppose you must have had some great opportunity. But sometimes, cultivation should be down to earth. Otherwise, you'll have high cultivation but no corresponding strength. This immortal banquet is an opportunity for you. There are many heavenly and earthly treasures inside that can consolidate your cultivation. However, you've advanced too quickly. The immortal banquet might not be of much use to you." He spoke from on high, as if lecturing. Although he could see through Lin Moyu's cultivation level, he didn't care at all. Lin Moyu saw divine light flickering in the Phantom God Holy Sun's eyes. Obviously he had a corresponding secret technique that could see Lin Moyu's cultivation level. There were countless secret techniques in the world, it wasn't strange. When he mentioned that Lin Moyu was already at the 5th level of Tao Venerable, it shocked Dongfang Wuan and the others. Lin Moyu said with some disdain, "It seems the elders of the 10,000 Scenes Holy Land don't have very good eyesight. How could they choose such a person as their heir? Heavenly Illusion Holy Sun, how about I talk to your elders and have them replace him?" The Phantom God Holy Sun's face suddenly changed. "What did you say? Who do you think you are?" Lin Moyu was about to speak when suddenly a stern shout came, "And who do you think you are to speak so recklessly here?" 3 people from the Coldwater Holy Land came side by side, glaring at the Phantom God Holy Sun with unfriendly eyes. ko-fi.com/translate-toki only donate if you want to. My Patreon is now up. Go to email protected translate toki. Remove the @ symbol and type a. Chapter 3485, 3485. Chapter 3485, Replace him, really? Among the three people, Lin Moyu recognized two. Ji-Yu Hanjing and Ji-Yu Baiquan. Ji-Yu Hanjing was the current Holy Lord, while Ji-Yu Baiquan was the current Holy Son. Lin Moyu didn't recognize the third person. However, being able to come here meant their status in the Coldwater Holy Land wasn't low. The Heavenly Phantom Holy Son looked over coldly, his expression unfriendly. People from the Coldwater Holy Land, what are you doing? Ji-Yu Hanjing ignored the Heavenly Phantom Holy Son and looked at Lin Moyu instead. The coldness on her face instantly melted away, replaced by a smile. Brother-in-law. Lin Moyu made an sound. Why are you here? Ji-Yu Hanjing said, I just became the Holy Lord not long ago. I'm taking advantage of my position to come taste the ancient Lotus Immortal banquet and also get acquainted with the elders from various sects. Lin Moyu said, that's not bad. Did the three elders from the Holy Land come too? Ji-Yu Hanjing nodded, they all came. They're over there. Do you want me to call them over? No need, I'll meet them later when I have the chance. The two chatted as if no one else was around, while those nearby were already stunned. They knew that the Holy Lord of the Coldwater Holy Land had changed, with the original Ji-Yu Hanyu stepping down and her younger sister Ji-Yu Hanjing taking over. But they didn't expect Ji-Yu Hanjing to call Lin Moyu brother-in-law, which meant Ji-Yu Hanyu was Lin Moyu's wife. Thinking of Ji-Yu Hanyu's thunderous methods, these people felt a bit scared. Ji-Yu Hanyu was not someone to be trifled with. However, the Heavenly Phantom Holy Son wasn't afraid at all in his heart. No wonder he talks so big, turns out he's relying on the Coldwater Holy Land. A man who relies on women is. Before he could finish speaking, the Heavenly Phantom Holy Son was sent flying backward with a scream, crashing heavily onto the ground. A huge red handprint appeared on his face. The one who struck wasn't Lin Moyu, but Ji-Yu Hanjing. If Lin Moyu had acted, the Heavenly Phantom Holy Son probably wouldn't have kept his life. Ji-Yu Hanjing slapped the Heavenly Phantom Holy Son flying, if you dare to speak nonsense again, next time this Holy Lord will kill you. Lin Moyu stood by with narrowed eyes, full of amusement. Ji-Yu Hanjing was indeed somewhat like her elder sister, not hesitating at all when taking action. No wonder she could fight with those insects in the soul world for so many years. She definitely wouldn't be timid. The Heavenly Phantom Holy Son flew up from the ground, his aura rising. You dare to hit this Holy Son? Ji-Yu Hanjing waved her jade hand. What's wrong with hitting you? You're just a mere Holy Son. Even if you were the Holy Lord of the 10,000 Scenes Holy Land, I'd still hit you. Go back and ask your Holy Lord if he was ever beaten by my sister. The current Holy Lord of the 10,000 Scenes Holy Land had indeed been taught a lesson by Ji-Yu Hanyu back then, possibly more than once. In those years, it was the era of Ji-Yu Hanyu. Ji-Yu Hanyu, with her strength alone, pressured the geniuses of her generation so much they couldn't lift their heads. Not to mention those at the same level as her, even those one level higher than her were beaten into submission by her. The Heavenly Phantom Holy Son was somewhat ashamed and angry. That was then, this is now. Does your Coldwater Holy Land want to be enemies with our 10,000 Scenes Holy Land? Ji-Yu Hanjing said, enemies? A mere Holy Son, do you have the right to represent the 10,000 Scenes Holy Land? Even your Holy Lord doesn't have that right. Who do you think you are? My brother-in-law is right, your elders must be blind to let someone like you be the Holy Son. If you don't understand, come here and let your auntie teach you a good lesson today, let you see clearly what this world is really like. The commotion grew larger and larger, quickly attracting the attention of many people. The elders who were catching up also looked over one after another. An elder appeared beside the Heavenly Phantom Holy Son and asked in a low voice, Holy Son, what happened? The Heavenly Phantom Holy Son said in a low voice, in response to the elder, she slapped me. The elder from the 10,000 Scenes Holy Land looked at Ji-Yu Hanjing, why did you hit him? Ji-Yu Hanjing casually said, he spoke disrespectfully, so this Holy Lord disciplined him on behalf of your Holy Land. Is there a problem? Ji-Yu Hanjing didn't put this 9th level elder in her eyes at all, but she wasn't a fool either. As she spoke, she inconspicuously moved closer to Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu was both amused and exasperated. This sister-in-law of his was really quite interesting. The elder from the 10,000 Scenes Holy Land looked at Ji-Yu Hanjing, you must be the newly appointed Holy Lord of the Coldwater Holy Land, right? Ji-Yu Hanjing made an sound, and you must be Elder Dream Landscape from the 10,000 Scenes Holy Land, right? Elder Dream Landscape nodded, then asked, Holy Sun, tell this elder what happened just now. Just as the heavenly phantom Holy Sun was about to exaggerate the story, Lin Moyu suddenly spoke, no need to say anything. It's already happened, right or wrong doesn't matter anymore. But if your Holy Land's air is this kind of trash, then your Holy Land isn't far from destruction. Elder Dream Landscape shouted lowly, what did you say? An enormous aura pressed down on Lin Moyu like a mountain, but Lin Moyu felt nothing. Think carefully before you act. Don't bring disaster to your Holy Land. Not everyone can be provoked. Elder Dream Landscape narrowed his eyes as he looked at Lin Moyu, his gaze full of danger. Little fellow, your cultivation isn't much, but your tone is not small. Where are your elders? Let this old man see them. Lin Moyu said indifferently, I don't have any elders. Even if you want to see them, you can't. If you don't believe what I say, you can go ahead and try to make a move. More and more people were looking over. Ji Yu Kang walked over and casually asked, what's going on? Elder Dream Landscape looked at Ji Yu Kang, Brother Ji Yu Kang, is this little fellow from your Coldwater Holy Land? Ji Yu Kang turned his head to look at Lin Moyu, then slowly bowed, greetings, Mr. Lin. Lin Moyu chuckled, I didn't expect to meet again so soon. Ji Yu Kang laughed heartily, indeed, I really didn't expect it. Although it hasn't been long, I still have to greet you. I hope Mr. Lin has been well. Elder Dream Landscape frowned slightly, feeling that something seemed a bit off. This so-called Mr. Lin wasn't from the Coldwater Holy Land. He asked in a deep voice, Brother Ji Yu Kang, what's going on here? Ji Yu Kang said, Old Dream, I just heard Mr. Lin say that the air you chose isn't very good, right? If that's really the case, this old man kindly advises you, replace your air. Elder Dream Landscape remained silent. He naturally wouldn't believe something just because Ji Yu Kang said it. The heavenly phantom Holy Sun was the first to lose patience, what nonsense are you talking about? Elder Dream Landscape shouted lowly, shut up, you have no right to speak here. Ji Yu Kang looked at the heavenly phantom Holy Sun, then shook his head lightly, Old Dream, we've been friends for so many years. Replace him, really? Elder Dream Landscape had already realized that there was indeed a problem with the current situation. Old Ji Yu, can you explain more clearly? Ji Yu Kang shook his head lightly, not explaining further. At this moment, someone else came over. It was Dongfang Wooding. When he saw Lin Moyu, he quickly walked over, then bowed slightly to Lin Moyu, greetings, Mr. Lin. Lin Moyu saw that Zhang Ruaoshui was actually following behind Dongfang Wooding. He smiled slightly, Elder Dongfang really treats Ruaoshui well. Dongfang Wooding laughed heartily, the disciple Mr. Lin recommended, this old man naturally has to teach well. Zhang Ruaoshui also bowed to Lin Moyu, addressing him as Mr. Lin. A lotus flower floated down from the sky, and the Immortal Lotus Holy Maiden said, the Immortal Banquet is about to begin. Please, everyone, take your seats. Then she bowed to Lin Moyu, Mr. Lin, please follow me to your seat. ko-fi.com/translate-toki only donate if you want to. My Patreon is now up, go to email protected translate toki. Remove the @ symbol and type a. Chapter 3486, 3486. Chapter 3486, this karmic tie cannot be undone. The ancient lotus immortal banquet began. The original seats slowly rose, dividing into upper and lower layers. The disciples brought by the elders sat on the lower layer, while the elders themselves sat on the upper layer. The two layers were separated by about 10 meters, like two different worlds, thus also separating their status. However, the ancient Lotus Holy Land's rules weren't set in stone. For example, Ji Yu Hanjing, due to her special status, was also on the upper layer, on par with the other elders. Lin Moyu and Little Mei got on the Immortal Lotus Holy Maiden's lotus flower. The lotus flower flew to a seat on the upper layer, which turned out to be the seat of honor. Lin Moyu transmitted his voice to ask, isn't this inappropriate? The Immortal Lotus Holy Maiden said, this is the Holy Lord's arrangement. The ancestor said to treat you as they would treat her, so you should sit in the seat of honor. All right then. Lin Moyu didn't refuse further and directly sat down. This action stunned everyone present. The seat of honor should be the ancient Lotus Holy Lord's position, but now Lin Moyu was sitting there. Where would the Holy Lord sit? Could there be a mistake? I remember that was the seat of honor. Has the seating arrangement changed this time? Has the seat of honor changed? It definitely hasn't changed. Haven't you noticed that lotus flower is the same? Could it be that the immortal lotus holy maiden made a mistake? If so, that's possible. Who exactly is this little fellow? Merely at the 5th level of Tao Venerable, yet he can sit in the seat of honor. Him sitting in the seat of honor is one thing, but the person beside him is even more interesting. Only at the God King realm. The elders discussed among themselves, not understanding why Lin Moyu and Little May could sit on the upper layer. Although they didn't understand, everyone still took their seats according to the ancient Lotus Holy Land's arrangement. Lin Moyu felt many gazes falling on him, including one filled with hatred from the heavenly phantom Holy Sun. Lin Moyu felt nothing about this. Such a person could be destroyed with a flick of his finger. After everyone was seated, several elders from the ancient Lotus Holy Land arrived riding lotus flowers. There's going to be a good show. I wonder how the ancient Lotus Holy Lord will react when she sees her seat occupied. Many people had already revealed expressions of anticipation for a good show. After the elders of the ancient Lotus Holy Land arrived, they all turned and first bowed to Lin Moyu. Greetings, Mr. Lin. Lin Moyu didn't stand up, but casually said, Elders, there's no need to be so formal. Please be at ease. The ancient Lotus Holy Lord walked to Lin Moyu's left side and sat down gracefully, not mentioning the seating issue at all throughout. From their unified address of, Mr. Lin, to not questioning the seating arrangement, clever people already knew that Lin Moyu's sitting here was arranged by the ancient Lotus Holy Lord. At this moment, Elder Dream Landscape's gaze towards Lin Moyu changed. He seemed to start considering whether Lin Moyu's words were true, whether their chosen heir really wasn't suitable. He told this matter to the other 2 elders of the 10,000 Scenes Holy Land, but didn't get a response. Choosing a new heir was a major matter. It wouldn't be changed just because of one person's words. The ancient Lotus Holy Lord spoke in a clear voice. Everyone must be wondering why this ancient Lotus Immortal banquet, which is held once every 10,000 years, has been brought forward by 1,000 years this time. It's because something very important happened in our ancient Lotus Holy Land. A matter that has troubled our ancient Lotus Holy Land for countless years has been resolved. Those present had all heard more or less about a matter that had troubled the ancient Lotus Holy Land for countless years. They didn't expect it to have been resolved. Dongfang Wuding's eyes turned slightly. May I ask the Holy Lord, was your Holy Land's trouble resolved by Mr. Lin? The ancient Lotus Holy Lord said, that's correct. It was resolved by Mr. Lin. Mr. Lin is our benefactor. We have no way to repay this debt of gratitude. People speculated about what kind of favor could be so great as to reach this extent. For even the ancient Lotus Holy Lord to say they had no way to repay, didn't that mean the entire ancient Lotus Holy Land would remember Lin Moyu's kindness? From now on, the ancient Lotus Holy Land would be Lin Moyu's backing. The ancient Lotus Holy Lord waved her hand, and several lotus-shaped wine cups flew out from the central table, coming to her and several ancient Lotus Holy Land elders, as well as one to Lin Moyu. The cups were filled with fine wine. As soon as they left the formation, the wine's fragrance spread, filling this space. The elders couldn't resist the temptation and swallowed their saliva, saying in low voices, it's the immortal lotus intoxication, the best wine of the human race. Indeed, it's the best wine. In the past, the ancient Lotus Immortal banquet didn't always have immortal lotus intoxication. It seems the ancient Lotus Holy Land has really gone all out this time. I see they've prepared quite a lot of immortal lotus intoxication. We can have a good taste later. The ancient Lotus Holy Lord raised her wine cup. My fellow elders and I, with this wine, express our gratitude to Mr. Lin. Lin Moyu smiled and stood up. It was a small matter. The elders are too kind. As the ancient Lotus Holy Lord drank her wine in one gulp, Lin Moyu did the same. Although he accepted this cup of wine, Lin Moyu was wryly smiling in his heart. If I had known earlier, I wouldn't have come to this ancient Lotus Immortal banquet. Now the karmic tie with the ancient Lotus Holy Land can't be undone. However, this wine is indeed excellent, the best I've ever drunk. It's a pity there's so little. It would be good if I could take some home. I should ask about the recipe later, see if I can brew it myself. The ancient Lotus Holy Land couldn't be killed, and this karmic tie was getting deeper and deeper. Lin Moyu was also helpless. But he was also straightforward. Since the karmic tie couldn't be undone, he wasn't afraid of it getting deeper. He should first take all the advantages he could. Everyone envied Lin Moyu, only Little May understood Lin Moyu's thoughts, secretly amused on the side. At this moment, Dongfang Wuding suddenly spoke, "Ancient Lotus Holy Lord, could you give this old man a cup of wine too? This old man also has something to thank Mr. Lin for." The Ancient Lotus Holy Lord's eyes flickered, "Certainly, Elder Wuding, please help yourself." Elder Wuding had a thought, and several cups of Immortal Lotus intoxication flew out. 4 cups were for himself and the other 3 elders of the Dongfang family, while 1 cup came to Lin Moyu's hand. Elder Wuding raised his wine cup and bowed to Lin Moyu. "Our Dongfang family also had a puzzle that had troubled us for countless years. Thanks to Mr. Lin's help, the puzzle was solved." Dongfang Wuding and the other elders of the Dongfang family thanked Mr. Lin. "In the future, if Mr. Lin has any need, just call out, and the Dongfang family will certainly do our utmost, without hesitation." "Elder Wuding is too kind," Lin Moyu said as he drank the wine, accepting Dongfang Wuding's thanks. In one move, 2 formidable powers were standing behind Lin Moyu. After this immortal banquet, Lin Moyu's name would certainly resound throughout the entire southern continent. Anyone wanting to provoke Lin Moyu would have to think twice. After the Ancient Lotus Holy Lord and Dongfang Wuding thanked Lin Moyu in turn, the immortal banquet didn't officially begin. The Ancient Lotus Holy Lord said, "Please, everyone, wait a moment longer. There are still a few honored guests who haven't arrived." People were puzzled. The top elders of the southern continent were all here. Who else could be coming? They couldn't think of anyone, and someone asked, "Who else hasn't arrived?" The Ancient Lotus Holy Lord said, "They should be here soon. Please wait a moment longer." The elders naturally had this patience. After waiting for 2 minutes, a massive aura came from the distance. A mass of mist appeared in the distance, covering the sky and earth, coming with the momentum of 10,000 horses galloping. The person hadn't arrived, but their voice came first, "Congratulations on your return, fellow Taoist. This emperor has come specially to drink a cup of wine. ko-fi.com/translate-toki only donate if you want to. My Patreon is now up. Go to email protected translate toki. Remove the @ symbol and type a. Chapter 3487, 3487. Chapter 3487, Great Tao Realm Beings Gather. The Beast Emperor. All the 9th level elders stood up respectfully, each paying their respects. Why has the Beast Emperor come? The road from the northern continent to here isn't short. What is the Beast Emperor coming here specifically for? Didn't you hear? The Beast Emperor said, "Congratulations on your return, fellow Taoist." Who could be called a fellow Taoist by the Beast Emperor? The young people sitting on the lower level knew about the Beast Emperor, but their understanding of him was far less profound than these 9th level elders. Only those who had truly reached the 9th level and achieved the peak would know that between the Tao Venerable Realm and the Great Tao Realm, though only 1 step apart, the difference was like that between heaven and earth. The Beast Emperor alone could suppress all the 9th level elders present. The Beast race had 10 royal clans, and 9th level elders were not few, but they still obediently prostrated themselves before the Beast Emperor. There was no choice, their strength was no longer on the same level. Suddenly, an elder said in a low voice, "Does this mean that we humans of the southern continent also have such an existence now?" This sentence wasn't loud, but it made all the elders' hearts race. The northern continent had the Beast Emperor, the eastern continent had the 3 ancestors, the western continent had Withering and Flourishing Elder, and the Boundary Sea had the King of the Boundary Sea. In their southern continent, among the mighty human race, there had never been a great Tao realm being who could stand shoulder to shoulder with these figures. It had always been a deficiency. But now, they suddenly had one. Some elders realized that the problem the Ancient Lotus Holy Land had solved must be related to this. Is it the ancestor of the Ancient Lotus Holy Land? It's very likely. The Ancient Lotus Holy Land is extremely ancient. If they have a great Tao realm being among them, it's not impossible. If the Ancient Lotus Holy Land truly has a great Tao realm being presiding over it, it's not a bad thing for our southern continent. If our southern continent really has a great Tao realm being, it's best if it's from the Ancient Lotus Holy Land. At least they don't have much interest in power. The 9th level elders each had their own thoughts, everyone with their own ideas. The Beast Emperor's mist came closer and closer. A celestial lotus appeared in the sky above the Ancient Lotus Holy Land, blooming with 10,000 rays of colorful light, illuminating the entire Ancient Lotus Holy Land. On the celestial lotus stood a fairy facing the wind. She was peerlessly beautiful and incomparably charming, yet standing there she was like a sacred lotus that could not be defiled. Some people felt that even looking at her for an extra moment was a kind of blasphemy. The voice of the ancient Lotus ancestor slowly transmitted, "Beast Emperor, you've come from afar. Examun has been remiss in not welcoming you. Please don't take offense." The Beast Emperor laughed heartily. "Fellow Taoist Examun has been sleeping for many years. Being able to return successfully is a great joy. Fellow Taoist Examun shouldn't blame me for coming late." It was only then that Lin Moyu learned that the ancient Lotus ancestor was named Examun. Moreover, it seemed that she and the Beast Emperor were old acquaintances. The Beast Emperor also knew that she had been in a deep sleep. It's likely that the Beast Emperor had tried to find her before, but just couldn't. Does the Beast Emperor mean to say that this old man came even later? A thick, deep voice sounded, and then a phantom image appeared in the sky. The phantom was hazy and indistinct, its true appearance unclear, as if not in this world. But the pressure it emitted made people unable to breathe. The Beast Emperor was still smiling. "If you want to think of it that way, this emperor has no choice." The ancient Lotus ancestor smiled. That the three ancestors could come, Examun is already overwhelmed with the honor. There's no early or late. The 9th level elders exclaimed in low voices, "The three ancestors have come too. I didn't expect the three ancestors would come as well. Now only Withering and Flourishing Elder and that one from the Boundary Sea are left." "Yes, but those two are somewhat mysterious. They definitely won't come. Who knows? They might be mysterious to us, but among fellow Great Tao Realm beings, how mysterious can they be?" Lin Moyu suddenly looked into the distance. A black shadow was flying from the far horizon, shaped like a whale. It was the king of the Boundary Sea. The black whale swept across the sky, and a voice like thunder sounded, "Examun, I've come late. Don't blame me." Examun hurriedly said, "Brother Black is joking. Your coming is already giving Examun face." The black whale flew into the celestial lotus, rapidly shrinking, and finally transformed into a man in black robes. The 9th level elders said in low voices, "It's the king of the Boundary Sea. He really came too. Now only Withering and Flourishing Elder is left. I wonder if he will come." "Who knows? Withering and Flourishing Elder rarely appears. He might not come." Lin Moyu knew that Withering and Flourishing Elder wouldn't be able to come. Now, the 4 remaining Great Tao Realm beings on the Origin continent were all here. Everyone had arrived. Next was the start of the banquet. Today's Ancient Lotus Immortal banquet was unprecedented. Originally, there were only upper and lower levels, but now it had become 3 levels, upper, middle, and lower. The lower level was for disciples, the middle level for the 9th level elders, and the upper level for the few Great Tao Realm beings. At this moment, the Beast Emperor's voice suddenly sounded, "Fellow Taoist Lin, why don't you come up and sit with us?" The king of the Boundary Sea also chuckled, "Fellow Taoist Lin, come up quickly. There's still a place up here." Examun said in a clear voice, "I hope fellow Taoist Lin can give Examun this face." As they spoke, a ray of colorful light fell from the celestial lotus, coming before Lin Moyu, turning into a path to the heavens. Lin Moyu chuckled lightly, "Then Lin shall respectfully comply." He instructed little Mei to eat well here, then stepped onto the colorful light, following it into the celestial lotus. Lin Moyu's departure left everyone stunned. No one had expected that the Great Tao Realm beings would take turns inviting Lin Moyu, treating him as an equal. Obviously, Lin Moyu was also an old acquaintance to them, and they treated him as a peer. For a moment, countless people were speculating about Lin Moyu's identity, wondering why someone at the 5th level of Tao Venerable could be treated as an equal by Great Tao Realm beings. But no matter how they guessed, they couldn't possibly figure it out even if they racked their brains. Elder Dream Landscape's eyes flickered. He began to seriously consider Lin Moyu's suggestion. Should the Heavenly Phantom Holy Sun really be replaced? His lips moved slightly, suddenly transmitting a message to the Heavenly Phantom Holy Sun. "Holy Sun, tell this elder everything about that fellow Taoist Lin." He felt that Lin Moyu was definitely not so simple, and needed to be thoroughly understood. After Lin Moyu left, his seat became empty. The ancient Lotus Holy Lord naturally moved over, coming to little Mei's side to take care of her. A few seconds later, a clear voice sounded from the sky, "Let the banquet begin." The formation in the center was removed. In an instant, waves of rich fragrance wafted out, entering everyone's noses, permeating their blood, marrow, and souls. Plates of delicacies and cups of fine wine automatically rose, slowly rotating in the air. Those who needed could take them freely. The food at the Immortal banquet was extremely abundant. When one batch was almost finished, new dishes would automatically appear. It was impossible to eat it all. However, in this immortal banquet, many elders ate somewhat absent-mindedly. They were thinking more about Lin Moyu's identity and his relationship with those great Tao realm beings. At the same time, they were also thinking about how to interact with the ancient Lotus Holy Land now that it had a great Tao realm being, and whether they should actively seek friendship. In the current era, they knew all too well what a great Tao realm being meant. A single great Tao realm being was enough to erase their holy lands and sects. Even the strongest powers were like child's play before a great Tao realm being. As elders, they had many things to consider. The elders on the middle level weren't eating as heartily as those on the lower level, with two exceptions, Little Mei and Jiyu Hanjing, who were eating with great gusto. Jiyu Hanjing couldn't be bothered to worry about these things. After all, she had 3 elders behind her. Little Mei was even more carefree. She didn't need to manage anything, just focus on eating. Delicious, it's so delicious. Little Mei ate with a beaming smile, already lost in enjoyment. Asterisk 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 asterisk. There were some good suggestions, but none that really caught my interest. I'd greatly appreciate any additional suggestions or recommendations. Asterisk 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 asterisk. ko-fi.com/translate-toki only donate if you want to. My Patreon is now up. Go to email protected translate toki. Remove the @ symbol and type a. Chapter 3488, 3488. Chapter 3488, each has their own calculations. On the celestial lotus, 4 great Tao realm beings and Lin Moyu, a 5th level Tao Venerable, sat together in a circle. Examoon poured tea for everyone. On the table were only a few snacks, but each snack was special, different from those at the Immortal banquet. According to Examoon, all the delicacies in the Immortal banquet combined were not worth as much as these few plates of snacks. Lin Moyu joked, "Elders, don't you feel it's very incongruous to call me here?" The 3 ancestors snorted lightly, "You little fox can fit in anywhere. What's incongruous about it?" The Beast Emperor also laughed, "That's right. We've been familiar with each other before. Stop saying such things." Being retorted by the 2, Lin Moyu could only smile and say, "All right, I was wrong. I won't say it anymore." The King of the Boundary Sea looked at Lin Moyu, his gaze making Lin Moyu feel a bit uneasy. "Elder Black, is there something wrong with me?" The King of the Boundary Sea said, "That person, has he come again?" Lin Moyu guessed who the King of the Boundary Sea was referring to. He nodded slightly, "He came not long ago." The King of the Boundary Sea said, "Do you know what that person came for this time?" Lin Moyu said, "What good could that guy do by coming?" The King of the Boundary Sea's face immediately changed. From Lin Moyu's tone, he didn't seem to hold that person in any regard at all. The Beast Emperor and the 3 ancestors, hearing their conversation, also felt a jolt in their hearts. They naturally knew who that person referred to in the King of the Boundary Sea's words. But from Lin Moyu's tone, he obviously had no good feelings towards that person. The 3 ancestors coughed lightly, "Young Lin, be careful not to bring trouble upon yourself with your words." But Lin Moyu didn't care at all, "I say this to his face too. If I wasn't unable to beat him, I would definitely give him a good thrashing." The Beast Emperor cautiously asked, "Does young friend Lin have a grudge against that person?" Lin Moyu shook his head, "No grudge. It's just that what he does is somewhat disgusting. This is between him and me, it has nothing to do with you elders. Don't worry about it." They were all wondering in their hearts what kind of relationship Lin Moyu had with that person. That person was such an existence that they wanted to respect but couldn't even reach that level, yet Lin Moyu actually said he wanted to beat him up. To be able to say such words, one must either be brainless or have real backing. Lin Moyu certainly couldn't be brainless, so he must have real backing. But where did his backing come from? For a moment, the Beast Emperor, the three ancestors, and the King of the Boundary Sea let their imaginations run wild, gradually going off track. Seeing this, Examun said softly, "Why don't we talk about something else?" Lin Moyu also sensed the strange atmosphere and immediately agreed. What would Elder like to talk about? Examun said, "Let's talk about the great changes in heaven and earth. I feel that the restrictions of heaven and earth are gradually weakening." She brought the topic back again. The King of the Boundary Sea immediately said, "The restrictions of heaven and earth are indeed weakening. This also indicates that the great changes in heaven and earth are not far off." The three ancestors said, "To truly trigger the great changes in heaven and earth, we still need an opportunity. But no one knows what that opportunity is." The Beast Emperor said, "We don't need to guess. What should come will naturally come. We just need to be prepared." The King of the Boundary Sea said, "I only manage the Boundary Sea area. You can fight over the land yourselves. I won't participate, but don't come to the Boundary Sea either." The Beast Emperor said, "I also only manage the northern continent. I can't be bothered with other places." The three ancestors said, "I'll be frank. I have pieces in all continents, but mainly in the eastern continent. However, the situation in the eastern continent is now divided in two." Lin Moyu knew that in the eastern continent, besides the three ancestors, there was also the Eastern Spirit Empire. And the king of the Eastern Spirit Empire was Antares, who should also be at the Great Tao realm. The three ancestors wouldn't conflict with him. Examun said, "Since everyone has divided their territories, how about the southern continent belongs to me?" The three ancestors said, "I have no objection, but I hope Fairy Examun won't interfere with my current arrangements." Although the three ancestors spoke gently, there was a hint of warning in his words. The three ancestors' arrangements were scattered, but traces of them could be found all over the origin continent. Among these great Tao realm beings, Examun's power was currently the weakest. However, she had just awakened and couldn't be compared with the others. Coming late meant falling behind. If she wanted to catch up, some methods were necessary. Examun said, "Examun understands. Three ancestors, rest assured, I won't touch your pieces." "What about that person in the western continent?" Lin Moyu said softly, "The western continent used to be the territory of Withering and Flourishing Elder and the Netherworld race. Now it's mine." Examun was slightly startled. What happened to Withering and Flourishing Elder? Lin Moyu said, "He has already returned to the Great Tao." The Beast Emperor chuckled, "That Withering and Flourishing fellow, he became enemies with young friend Lin and ended up being chased away by the Great Tao. All those years of planning, ruined in an instant. Now in the western continent, besides young friend Lin, there are also the Buddhist race and the insect race. Fairy Examun might not be too clear about this, but these two races can't be touched. There are heavenly karmic ties involved." Examun pondered for a moment and made a decision, "Then I'll just gather the southern continent." Lin Moyu said, "The former Holy Lord of the Cold Water Holy Land, Jiyu Hanyu, is the elder sister of the current Holy Lord Jiyu Hanjing, and also my wife." Examun looked at Lin Moyu. She could naturally understand the meaning behind Lin Moyu's words, which was asking her not to touch the Cold Water Holy Land. However, she didn't answer immediately, but was weighing her options. She was already far behind, and there were pieces placed by the three ancestors all over the southern continent. The forces she could gather were already few. If she lost the Cold Water Holy Land as well, it would be no small loss. Lin Moyu observed Examun's reaction and leisurely added, "Hanyu was taken away by that person. She should have become his disciple." Examun's beautiful eyes widened suddenly, obviously not believing it. Not just her, but the other three also looked over with shock at the same time. Being taken as a disciple by that person meant that the Cold Water Holy Land had that person standing behind them. Even if they had 10 times the courage, they wouldn't dare to touch it. Examun squeezed out a smile, "Thank you for the reminder, fellow Taoist Lin. I understand." Lin Moyu said, "There's one more thing to remind Elder Examun about. Dongfang Duantian isn't dead, he has also returned to the Great Tao now." The three ancestors asked, "He's actually still alive?" Lin Moyu nodded, "Yes, still alive." The Beast Emperor said, "That fellow is very strong. Not easy to deal with." They all knew this name. He was once the commander of the entire southern continent battlefield, extremely powerful. Examun said softly, "Thank you for the reminder, young friend Lin. Examun knows what to do now." If the Dongfang family had Dongfang Duantian behind them, then her attitude towards the Dongfang family would have to change. Examoon had already realized that the waters of the origin continent were actually very deep. She looked at the three ancestors. Three ancestors, could you sell me a copy of the information on the major families of the southern continent? The three ancestors chuckled. I won't sell it, but I can give you a copy. The three ancestors seemed to have prepared long ago. A jade tablet had already flown into Examoon's hand. Examoon took the jade tablet. Thank you, three ancestors. Examoon will remember this favor. Lin Moyu knew what this old fox three ancestors was thinking. Buying and selling don't create karmic ties, but not selling and only giving would create karmic ties. Moreover, he had long guessed what Examoon wanted to do and what she would need, and had calculated it all early on. The three elders each walked different paths, each had their own calculations, all planning for the great changes in heaven and earth. Lin Moyu asked, Elders, could you speak more specifically about the great changes in heaven and earth? ko-fi.com/translate-toki only donate if you want to. My Patreon is now up. Go to email protected translate toki. Remove the @ symbol and type a. Chapter 3489, 3489. Chapter 3489, Does young friend Lin want to be a savior? Lin Moyu's words caused everyone to fall silent simultaneously. But since they didn't want to speak, Lin Moyu particularly wanted to make them say something. Lin Moyu said, since the elders don't want to speak, then let me start with 2 points. In the great changes of heaven and earth, the 5 continents will reappear, and the origin continent will be restored. Even if it can't be restored to its peak state, at least those 9th grade origin spirit veins will certainly appear. Of course, the elders wouldn't have stayed here for countless years just for mere 9th grade origin spirit veins. I suppose what you're after is the great Tao. When the time comes, whoever can dominate this change, or rather, whoever can become the main cause of this change, will have enormous gains. The will of heaven and earth. Origin power. Great Tao recognition. Or perhaps, do you want to become the legendary lord of the origin continent? Lin Moyu smiled as he listed several possibilities. The king of the boundary sea looked at Lin Moyu with a complex expression and sighed, young friend Lin, speaking like this is turning our hidden game into an open one. Lin Moyu smiled and said, playing a hidden game is too tiring. Since everyone knows what the others are doing, why not be straightforward? For example, you occupy the boundary sea, but you also know the situation there. Most beings in that area haven't developed yet, so the territory you occupy seems large, but how heaven and earth will view it is a question. The Beast Emperor is in the same situation. He seems to rule over the northern continent, but there are 10 royal clans in the north, each with their ancestors behind them. These ancestors might be dead or alive, or seeking rebirth. It's unknown how much credit heaven and earth will give the Beast Emperor then. The 3 ancestors have laid out plans across the world, with pieces everywhere. How much benefit these pieces can bring to the 3 ancestors, I'm afraid even the 3 ancestors themselves aren't sure. Each of you elders has your own plans, adhering to your own Tao hearts, but at the same time, you're all uncertain. Moreover, you can't possibly fight each other over this. Fighting would bring no benefit to any of you. Since that's the case, why don't we turn this hidden game into an open one? Let's discuss and clarify everything, then each go our own ways. The winner can smile, but shouldn't be arrogant. The loser should accept the outcome. Isn't this better? Listening to Lin Moyu's words, the 3 fell into deep thought. Lin Moyu had pointed out their plans. In fact, they each knew about the others' plans. This game had long been open under the guise of being hidden. Examoon looked at the 3, then at Lin Moyu, her gaze revealing a hint of admiration. For a Tao Venerable to speak so confidently before great Tao realm powerhouses was rare. After a moment, the 3 ancestors finally spoke. He said in a low voice, since we've come this far, let this old man speak plainly. In the great changes of heaven and earth, the fundamental will of the origin continent will evolve and manifest. This fundamental will bring all the great Taos, bestowing blessings upon the origin continent. At this point, Lin Moyu already knew the true purpose, it was for the great Tao blessings. The more plans laid out, the more territory occupied, the more great Tao blessings one would receive. But what exactly were these great Tao blessings? With the 3 ancestors taking the lead, the king of the boundary sea no longer held back. We've spent countless years coming here, all for these great Tao blessings. The Great Tao blessings are like rewards from the Great Tao, but far more than that. If we can obtain enough Great Tao blessings, all these years of effort won't have been in vain. At this point, the Beast Emperor also chimed in. Besides bringing cultivation improvements, the Great Tao blessings can also bring an opportunity, a chance to truly touch the Great Tao. If we can comprehend the essence of the Great Tao from this, perhaps in the future, we'll have a chance to explore the level of Great Tao Lord. His words carried longing, yearning for the Great Tao Lord realm. Lin Moyu finally understood. These three had gone to such lengths to come here, all for the chance to become Great Tao Lords. But now, they had just stepped into the threshold of the Great Tao realm not long ago. Even the strongest among them, the King of the Boundary Sea, was only an 8th grade innate soul. To become a Great Tao Lord, one needed at least a 1st grade innate soul and over 100 Tao patterns. How could these three possibly qualify? But looking at their expressions, they didn't seem to be joking. This meant they truly believed they had a chance. Lin Moyu suddenly realized a possibility. These three weren't their true selves, but avatars of some existences from across Kalpas. Their true selves were far beyond this level of cultivation. So, they did have a chance to explore the Great Tao Lord realm. This explanation made sense. Examoon sighed lightly. The three of you have such grand plans. Examoon doesn't dare to think about the position of Great Tao Lord. Examoon is fortunate enough to stay behind this time, just wanting to be a witness to history, to see the spectacle of the will of heaven and earth bestowing Great Tao blessings. Examoon was indeed late, too late by many years. It was almost impossible for her to compete with the Beast Emperor and the other two now. She could only do her best. Being able to obtain some Great Tao blessings would already be good enough. She dared not hope for more. The Beast Emperor said, "All right, everything's been clarified. Young friend Lin, are you satisfied?" Lin Moyu smiled and said, "Thank you, elders, for letting this junior understand what these great changes of heaven and earth are truly about. But this junior still has some questions and hopes the elders can enlighten me." Lin Moyu said, "The restrictions of heaven and earth are weakening. Next, quite a few people should enter the pseudo-Great Tao realm. Until the great changes occur and the restrictions of heaven and earth disappear, with the Great Tao descending, some of them should formally enter the Great Tao realm. At that time, with the 5 continents emerging and myriad Taos descending, will these 5 continents become battlefields? Will various powers from the outer Great Tao come to fight over them? And what about the current 4 continents? How should they position themselves? Once Great Tao realm beings take action, will the origin continent suffer another great calamity?" After hearing Lin Moyu's words, the 3 ancestors laughed first. "You're thinking too much." The Beast Emperor also laughed. "Young friend Lin, are you worried about so much because you want to be a savior?" Lin Moyu shook his head. "I've already been a savior twice. Things don't happen 3 times. I won't do it again. If such a thing really happens at that time, I'd rather leave first. Let them fight however they want, it's none of my business." The Beast Emperor also smiled. "They might already be fighting." The 3 ancestors said, "Before the great changes occur, those fellows will have already allocated the ownership of the 5 continents. When the 5 continents are truly restored, they just need to come down and establish their forces. There won't be any large-scale battles on the origin continent. Moreover, they won't interfere with the current powers of the 4 continents. You can rest assured about this point." Lin Moyu continued to ask, "Why do the powerful forces from the outer Great Tao want to establish forces on the origin continent?" The Beast Emperor said, "Because the origin continent is the root. The outer Great Tao is like duckweed without roots, seemingly strong but drifting everywhere. Only the origin continent is the root of this world. Only when the root is firmly planted can the outer Great Tao be stable." The King of the Boundary Sea added, "The outer Great Tao can collapse, but as long as the origin continent remains, the collapsed Great Tao will eventually recover. This is true for the Great Tao, for various forces, and especially for their legacies." My Patreon is now up. Go to email protected translate Toki. Remove the @ symbol and type a. Chapter 3490, 3490. Chapter 3490, the 3 ancestors were all wrong. Lin Moyu was well aware that because of the King of the Boundary Sea's question, he had borrowed the identity of the green-robed old man to intimidate them. That's why these Great Tao realm beings were willing to tell him these things. Otherwise, who did he think he was? There were too many geniuses in the world, and no matter how talented he was, it didn't count for much. They might be polite usually, but when it really mattered, he wouldn't count for anything. In this world, after all, it was still about who had the bigger fist. If your fist wasn't big, no matter how loud your voice was, it wouldn't matter. After discussing the great changes in heaven and earth, listening to the great Tao realm beings chat, Lin Moyu started to speak less, mainly listening. From the words of the great Tao realm beings, he gained a lot. This feast was very comfortable for Lin Moyu. He was stuffed with a large amount of information, and many of his previous questions were answered. He learned what the great changes in heaven and earth really were, and understood why the great Tao realm beings had been lying low in the origin continent for so many years. He even guessed that the three ancestors and others here might not be their true bodies but avatars. It made sense. With so many powers in the outer great Tao, why were only they able to come in while others couldn't? This explanation was the most reasonable. If they weren't strong, how could they have the qualifications to peak at the Tao Lord realm? As for the 5 continents, the various forces in the outer great Tao were already thinking about how to divide them up. Lin Moyu didn't care how they divided them, as long as they didn't provoke him, he couldn't be bothered to care. He pondered the words left by the green-robed old man. The green-robed old man wanted him to dominate the great changes in heaven and earth, but didn't say how to dominate them. If looking purely from the perspective of laying out plans, he definitely couldn't compare to the 3 ancestors and the Beast Emperor. But the green-robed old man's words couldn't be wrong. If so, then dominating the great changes in heaven and earth wasn't just about laying out plans. Lin Moyu suddenly thought of a possibility. Could it be that the 3 ancestors were wrong? The essence of their plans is actually quite similar, all about occupying more territory. What if the condition for dominating the great changes in heaven and earth isn't about territory at all? Lin Moyu thought of the great Tao rewards. It should be viewed from the perspective of the great Tao. Just like dealing with the outer realm gods, the one who gets the most rewards must be the one who kills the outer realm gods, because that's the essence. No matter how many years you trap them, it's useless if you can't kill them. The great Tao looks at the essence, not the surface. From this perspective, the one who truly dominates the great changes in heaven and earth should be the one who triggers them. To trigger the great changes in heaven and earth, there needs to be an opportunity, or rather, it's about clearing obstacles for the great changes in heaven and earth, creating sufficient conditions. As he thought deeper, Lin Moyu understood more and more. He grasped the key to the problem and roughly knew how to truly trigger the great changes in heaven and earth. The light in his eyes grew brighter. If I'm not mistaken, the opportunity to trigger the great changes in heaven and earth is at the bottom of the boundary sea. But before that, there are some preparations to be made. At least, we need to clean up the surface things first, and then improve our strength a bit. Lin Moyu had his own train of thought and roughly knew what he should do. He was 70% sure that what he thought was correct, and that the 3 ancestors and others had been on the wrong path all these years. The 4 great Tao realm beings chatted from ancient times to the present. They had lived for too long and knew too many things. On the contrary, Examoon, due to her long sleep, had missed a lot of information. Most of the time, she was the one asking questions. The main respondent was still the 3 ancestors. After all, they knew the most, so naturally had to say more. From their fragmentary words, Lin Moyu also learned about some situations in the outer great Tao. The outer great Tao was equally complex, with conflicts and unrest, which also confirmed the words of the green-robed old man. Lin Moyu knew he would have to set foot in the outer great Tao sooner or later. If there was fighting and killing there, he would quite enjoy it. After chatting for a while, Examoon finally thought to let everyone taste the delicacies. The Immortal banquet was naturally mainly about eating, but these great Tao realm beings had turned it into a symposium. The exquisite snacks melted in the mouth, followed by a wonderful taste exploding inside the body, reaching the soul. Lin Moyu felt his soul become clearer, as if a force was removing impurities from his soul. But this feeling only lasted for an instant. His soul was already pure enough, with no impurities to remove. This snack has the effect of purifying the soul, and unlike pills, it doesn't have side effects. Good stuff, Lin Moyu said to himself. The Beast Emperor was not stingy with praise. The cuisine of the Lotus sect is unparalleled, whether in the outer great Tao or here. No one can compare. In the previous conversation, Lin Moyu had learned that the ancient Lotus Holy Land's force in the outer great Tao was called the Lotus sect, which was also an extremely ancient and powerful force. However, in their words, the Beast Emperor and others didn't seem too wary, indicating that the forces behind them were not weaker than the Lotus sect. Examun explained. This isn't the outer Great Tao. It's extremely difficult to make soul food here. In the ancient Lotus Holy Land, we can only make one piece every 10,000 years. The one piece she referred to as the piece in Lin Moyu's hand, not even palm-sized, yet it took 10,000 years to make. The three ancestors also said, the soul food of the Lotus sect is indeed excellent. It's been many years since I've tasted it. The king of the Boundary Sea chuckled. If you want, you'll have the chance to eat it in the future. He was naturally referring to going to the outer Great Tao to find the Lotus sect, which wasn't a difficult thing. Examun looked at Lin Moyu. What does fellow Taoist Lin think? Lin Moyu said, the soul food has the effect of purifying the soul. It's good stuff. Examun's eyes glowed slightly. Fellow Taoist Lin's soul is indeed powerful. Your future achievements will be limitless. Not everyone could eat soul food. Lin Moyu being able to digest it so quickly indicated that his soul was extremely strong. When she saw him in the soul void before, Examun felt that Lin Moyu's soul was extraordinary. Now it seemed indeed very strong. The three ancestors chuckled. He can even master the great Tao essence fire. When he goes to the soul void in the future, he will certainly be unstoppable. Examun said, if it weren't for fellow Taoist Lin this time, I would have had difficulty returning from the soul void. Fellow Taoist Lin's great Tao essence fire is indeed extraordinary. The three ancestors said, not everyone can master the great Tao essence fire. This old man is very envious looking at it. Unfortunately, it's not meant for me. The Beast Emperor also chimed in. Indeed, what's not meant for us can't be forced. If forced, one might perish. At their level, they had understood many truths of the great Tao. Some things could be fought for, some things couldn't. They wouldn't act recklessly anymore. Lin Moyu was very modest. This great Tao essence fire is indeed my opportunity, but fortune and misfortune are intertwined. Who can say for sure? I take each step carefully. The soul void is very dangerous. If not necessary, I don't want to enter it lightly. The king of the Boundary Sea made an sound. Indeed, there's no need to rush. Wait until you reach the great Tao realm before going. However, even with the great Tao essence fire, don't provoke those few powerful existences in the soul void. The three ancestors said, when you reach the great Tao realm, this old man will give you some information, letting you know which fellows not to provoke in the soul void. Lin Moyu wasn't polite at all and laughed heartily, then many thanks to the three ancestors. ko-fi.com/translate-toki only donate if you want to. My Patreon is now up. Go to email protected translate toki. Remove the @ symbol and type a. Chapter 3491, 3491. Chapter 3491, this kid must have a grudge against you. Halfway through the ancient Lotus Immortal banquet, when everyone had tasted most of the delicacies, the ancient Lotus Holy Lord announced the start of the second phase of the banquet. The ancient Lotus Immortal banquet wasn't just about eating some food. The second phase was a martial arts competition between disciples from various forces. The food at the Immortal banquet contained powerful energy, and it would take some time to refine after eating. By engaging in a martial arts competition, they could accelerate the absorption and refinement of the consumed food, which was more effective than slowly refining it after returning home. Moreover, this was also a small competition between the major forces, showing the level of the new generation from various sects and holy lands. After the martial arts competition, there would be lectures from the elders of various forces. For those disciples who had just entered the Tao Venerable realm, this was also a small opportunity. The ancient Lotus Immortal banquet, held once every 10,000 years, would last for several dozen days. Several elders who had previously attended the ancient Lotus Immortal banquet knew the rules. As soon as the second phase began, people started to come forward. The competition took place on a lotus flower next to the banquet. The lotus flower was covered by a formation, allowing the competing parties to fully display their skills on it. Those who came forward were all outstanding heirs from various forces. They showcased their skills, trying their best to perform in front of their elders. Lin Moyu sat at the highest level, watching the competitions with a calm gaze. The Beast Emperor chuckled, "Young friend Lin, you probably don't think much of this level of competition, do you?" Lin Moyu smiled and said, "It's all right. It's somewhat interesting to occasionally watch children fight. The enemies Lin Moyu usually faced were often Dao venerables of the 7th level or above, and even great Dao realm beings. This level of competition, in his eyes, was like children playing house. However, he had also come from that stage. Perhaps his own battles back then, in the eyes of beings like the Beast Emperor, were also like playing house. The three ancestors laughed. After being used to seeing high-quality things, occasionally looking at some rough goods can also be a form of relaxation. There was no malice in his words, just casual teasing. Examun said, after the competition ends, it will be time for lectures. Do you fellow Taoists plan to give one? The king of the Boundary Sea chuckled, if we give lectures, would that bunch be able to understand? The three ancestors laughed. It's hard to say if others could understand, but young friend Lin would definitely understand. The Beast Emperor also chimed in, the key is whether young friend Lin wants to listen or not. Lin Moyu smiled wryly, you elders, please stop joking about me. Everyone has their own Dao. Listening too much to others' Dao isn't necessarily a good thing. Examun smiled and said, in our Lotus sect, there's a saying, learn from him, become him, surpass him. What does fellow Taoist Lin think about this? Lin Moyu thought for a moment, the student surpassing the teacher, this saying naturally makes sense, but it doesn't apply to everyone. Most people can learn from him, but it's difficult to become him or surpass him. As cultivators, we should be ourselves, not try to be someone else. I have a saying here too, called, the master leads you to the door. Cultivation depends on the individual. Just walk your own path. As long as you can persist in walking it, you'll reach the end sooner or later. Examun nodded. Fellow Taoist Lin must have found his own path, right? Lin Moyu wasn't modest at all. This Lin found his path long ago, and has been walking it, never wavering. As for how far I can go, this Lin doesn't know. I can only say that every step this Lin takes is very solid. He could be modest in other areas, but when it came to his own Dao, with Lin Moyu's Dao heart, he couldn't be modest even a bit. If he were modest, it would be disrespectful to his own Dao heart. Examun said, it seems fellow Taoist Lin won't be sitting and waiting to listen to lectures. Fellow Taoist Lin smiled and said, I may listen or not, as long as I don't take it to heart. Suddenly, a voice came from below, this junior boldly requests to seek guidance from Elder Lin. With this voice, the entire venue suddenly fell silent. The 9th level elders who were still chatting all looked over at once. The 9th level elders discussed among themselves, it's the phantom god Holy Sun from the 10,000 Scenes Holy Land. What is he trying to do? He said he wants to seek guidance from Elder Lin. Is he referring to the one the Beast Emperor called fellow Taoist Lin? There's no need to guess, it must be him. It seems the phantom god Holy Sun had some conflict with him before. The phantom god Holy Sun is at the 4th level of Dao Venerable, while that fellow Taoist Lin is at the 5th level of Dao Venerable. Although there's a difference in realm, it's not impossible to make up for it. The phantom god Holy Sun is said to be a once in 10,000 years genius. He might indeed be able to fight across realms. The key is, does the 10,000 Scenes Holy Land's elder agree with the phantom god Holy Sun doing this? They definitely didn't agree. Look at Elder Dream Landscape's face, it's already very unpleasant. Elder Dream Landscape's face was indeed not looking good. The phantom god Holy Sun's sudden action was completely beyond his expectations. Elder Dream Landscape said in a low voice, Phantom god Holy Sun, do you know what you're doing? Lin Moyu was someone who could be called a fellow Taoist by figures like the Beast Emperor and the three ancestors, and could sit at the same table with them. Even if he was only at the 5th level of Dao Venerable, his status was already established. The phantom god Holy Sun said loudly, in response to the elder's words, this phantom god Holy Sun only wants to seek guidance from Elder Lin, with no ill intentions. Elder Lin's cultivation is above this phantom god Holy Sun's, and I can surely learn a lot from Elder Lin. With him saying this, Elder Dream Landscape found it hard to say anything. In his heart, he had already cursed the phantom god Holy Sun countless times. If this matter wasn't handled well, their 10,000 Scenes Holy Land would offend Lin Moyu. For such a mysterious and unpredictable figure, it was naturally better not to offend him if possible. Ji Yu Hanjing's cold voice sounded, Phantom God Holy Sun, are you asking for a beating? The Phantom God Holy Sun didn't respond to Ji Yu Hanjing, but spoke again, Elder Lin, please give me some guidance. In the upper seating area, the Beast Emperor and others were smiling as they looked at Lin Moyu. The Beast Emperor said, this kid must have a grudge against you, right? The three ancestors said, looking at his eyes, he probably does. This phantom god Holy Sun is narrow-minded and will be hard to achieve great things. Lin Moyu slowly stood up. I've been sitting for so long, it's good to move around a bit. The Beast Emperor laughed heartily. Is this kid enough for you to move around? Lin Moyu said, at least I can move a finger. He slowly flew out, descending from the upper seating area, heading straight towards the nearby competition platform. His voice was calm, come over. Seeing Lin Moyu come down, the phantom god Holy Sun was obviously very pleased and immediately followed. The two entered the Lotus competition platform, and the formation activated, enveloping the two of them. At this moment, dozens of pairs of eyes in the venue were all fixed on the competition platform. The 9th level elders were very curious to see what abilities Lin Moyu had that made the Beast Emperor and others treat him like this. Only Little May continued eating, not paying any attention. She knew very well how miserable the phantom god Holy Sun would be. She ate while cultivating to refine the food, her aura steadily rising. On the competition platform, Lin Moyu looked at the phantom god Holy Sun. You can make your move now. The phantom god Holy Sun didn't hold back at all. Then excuse me. A folded box appeared in his hand. The box opened with a whoosh, turning into hundreds of palm-sized mirrors. The mirrors instantly enlarged, each over 2 meters tall, flying around on the competition platform. The 3 elders from the 10,000 Scenes Holy Land stood up simultaneously. Elder Dream Landscape's face looked extremely unpleasant. How did the 10,000 phenomena mirror end up in his hands? ko-fi.com/translate-toki only donate if you want to. My Patreon is now up. Go to email protected translate toki. Remove the @ symbol and type a. Chapter 3492, 3492. Chapter 3492, is this all you've got? Elder Dream Landscape's face was extremely unpleasant at this moment. His words seemed to be muttering to himself, but were actually inquiring of Elder Phantom Landscape beside him. The 10,000 phenomena mirror was Elder Phantom Landscape's treasure. How did it end up in the phantom god Holy Sun's hands? Elder Phantom Landscape said with a bitter face, I gave it to him. The phantom god Holy Sun originally wanted to dominate this competition, so he asked me for the 10,000 phenomena mirror. Elder Dream Landscape said in a low voice, with the phantom god Holy Sun's ability, he can't possibly control the 10,000 phenomena mirror. If the 10,000 phenomena spirit inside comes out and hurts him, what should we do? As he spoke, he gestured towards the sky. If Lin Moyu got hurt, would the 3 ancestors blame the 10,000 Scenes Holy Land? And there were the ancient Lotus Holy Land and the Dongfang family. They had just said in public that Lin Moyu was their benefactor. Would they cause trouble for them? Especially now that the ancient Lotus Holy Land had a great Tao realm being, who could be said to be an invincible existence in the southern continent. Elder Dream Landscape said loudly, Ancient Lotus Holy Lord, the phantom god Holy Sun mistakenly took the 10,000 phenomena mirror. To be safe, why don't we call off this competition? The ancient Lotus Holy Lord naturally knew about the 10,000 phenomena mirror, but she was somewhat hesitant. She looked up at the sky, and Examoon's clear voice transmitted down, no need to call it off. Fellow Taoist Lin will handle it. With Examoon speaking, the ancient Lotus Holy Lord immediately said, the ancestor has given her decree. Elder Dream Landscape need not say more. Elder Dream Landscape noticed that the ancient Lotus Holy Lord's face didn't look too good either. And there was Dongfang Wooding, whose gaze also carried unfriendliness. Ji Yukang from the Coldwater Holy Land let out a suppressed, deep laugh. 10,000 Scenes Holy Land, well done indeed. The several elders of the 10,000 Scenes Holy Land were getting headaches. They didn't expect the situation to develop to this point so quickly. What level of treasure the 10,000 phenomena mirror was, all the elders present knew clearly. Using an 8th level Tao Venerable treasure against Lin Moyu, who was at the 5th level of Tao Venerable, seemed like bullying in their eyes. And how could the mere phantom god Holy Sun obtain the 10,000 phenomena mirror? In others' eyes, it was clearly allowed by the 10,000 Scenes Holy Land's elders. This account would naturally be settled with the 10,000 Scenes Holy Land. Now they could only hope that nothing would happen to Lin Moyu. In the competition arena, Lin Moyu was surrounded by countless mirrors, each reflecting his whole body. He revealed a slight smile at the corner of his mouth. This treasure is quite interesting. The phantom god Holy Sun's voice sounded, 10,000 phenomena suppression. A high mountain appeared in the mirror, pressing down towards Lin Moyu's reflection. Lin Moyu's body shook slightly, feeling as if he was really being pressed by a mountain, and not just one. There were hundreds of mirrors here, reflecting hundreds of himself, each being pressed by a mountain. The power of these mountains converged together, then all acted on the real Lin Moyu. The attacks in the mirror will be reflected in reality. The more mirrors there are, the more the attacks can be stacked. This treasure is quite interesting. It's just that the person using it is lacking a bit. Pressed by hundreds of mountains, Lin Moyu didn't mind at all. These mountains weren't real, but formed by the phantom god Holy Sun's power. His power determined the weight of the mountains. The phantom god Holy Sun's power was limited, so the weight of the mountains was also limited. Although it was magnified many times, it was nothing to Lin Moyu. His body trembled slightly, his blood essence roared, and all the mountains pressing on him crumbled instantly. Not just in reality, but the mountains in the mirrors also crumbled. Lin Moyu smiled, so the attack works like this too. My actions will also be reflected in the mirrors, but my power will be dispersed. Lin Moyu's power, although dispersed into hundreds of streams, was still enough to shatter the mountains in the mirrors. As the mountains crumbled, the phantom god Holy Sun let out a muffled groan, obviously not feeling well. He shouted angrily, 10,000 phenomena devour body. Dragon roars came from the mirrors, and a black divine dragon appeared in the mirror, biting towards Lin Moyu's reflection. The Lin Moyu in the mirror made no movement, as if letting the divine dragon bite him at will. The huge bloody mouth opened, biting on Lin Moyu's body, making a sound like metal striking stone. The divine dragon bit firmly without letting go, but its seemingly sharp teeth couldn't bite through at all. How is this possible? Faintly, Lin Moyu heard the phantom god Holy Sun's voice, filled with disbelief. Lin Moyu treated the divine dragon as nothing. Do you have any other moves? The phantom god Holy Sun shouted angrily again, 10,000 phenomena devour soul. The divine dragon's eyes in the mirror suddenly shot out divine light, launching an attack on Lin Moyu's soul. But how could Lin Moyu's soul be shaken by someone like him? Lin Moyu was somewhat bored, not interesting. His blood essence roared, golden light flowed like flames on his body, and the divine dragon was instantly burned to ashes. The phantom god Holy Sun let out another muffled groan, and a drop of blood actually flowed from the mirror. Lin Moyu hadn't moved at all, yet the phantom god Holy Sun was already injured. This showed how great the difference in their strength was. The phantom god Holy Sun obviously couldn't believe this fact. He shouted angrily again, 10,000 phenomena slaughter god. A powerful aura rose, and a huge black shadow appeared in the hundreds of mirrors. The black shadow was as tall as the sky, and Lin Moyu was like an infant before it. A huge spear appeared in the black shadow's hand, emitting a terrifying killing intent, stabbing towards Lin Moyu. This time, Lin Moyu finally made a move. He punched towards the mirror in front of him. Following his action, the Lin Moyu in the mirror also punched out, but Lin Moyu's punch was weakened many times, dispersed to each mirror. But the black shadow's attack in the mirror was superimposed together, striking towards Lin Moyu alone. The fist collided with the spear tip, and everyone heard a huge boom. The seemingly sharp spear shattered on the spot, and the mirror in front of Lin Moyu was also smashed to pieces by one punch. Cracks appeared on the other mirrors, and more blood flowed out. This was the phantom god Holy Sun's blood. Lin Moyu shook his head lightly, what a pity. Your strength doesn't match this treasure. The phantom god Holy Sun shouted angrily, you're talking nonsense. I'll fight you to the death. He shouted coldly, 10,000 phenomena unite. Whoosh, all the mirrors merged together again, including the one just shattered by Lin Moyu, which was restored to its original state. The united mirror was tens of meters tall, towering in the competition arena. The phantom god Holy Sun appeared in the mirror, his hand forming a seal, his expression somewhat ferocious, 10,000 phenomena heaven collapse. Whoosh, countless rifts were torn in the space of the competition arena, the space inside torn to shreds. The 10,000 phenomena mirror tilted 3 degrees towards Lin Moyu, and the spatial rifts instantly rushed towards him. Lin Moyu stood there motionless, letting the spatial rifts engulf him. In the face of spatial rifts of this level, even a 6th level Dao Venerable could only run away. But for Lin Moyu, spatial rifts of this level were nothing. In the mirror, the phantom god Holy Sun's expression was ferocious as he said in a low voice, die. Lin Moyu stood in the spatial rifts, unmoved and unharmed, is this all you've got? While the phantom god Holy Sun was stunned, Lin Moyu had a thought, and the power of the space great Dao spread out. The spatial rifts were quickly mended, returning to normal. The phantom god Holy Sun screamed, "This is impossible, how can this be possible?" ko-fi.com/translate-toki only donate if you want to. My Patreon is now up. Go to email protected translate toki. Remove the @ symbol and type a. Chapter 3493, 3493. Chapter 3493, this is establishing authority. Lin Moyu just stood there, from beginning to end only throwing one punch. All of the phantom god Holy Sun's techniques using the 10,000 phenomena mirror were easily neutralized. Lin Moyu even yawned, his demeanor clearly showing boredom. His attitude, in the phantom god Holy Sun's eyes, was blatant mockery. The phantom god Holy Sun's eyes were bloodshot, seeming on the verge of madness. Elder Dream Landscape said in a low voice, "Phantom god Holy Sun, that's enough. Come back quickly." He knew they couldn't drag this on any longer. If it continued, the situation might spiral out of control. The phantom god Holy Sun seemed not to hear Elder Dream Landscape's words, his expression becoming increasingly ferocious. Lin Moyu's gaze swept over, penetrating the formation and falling on Elder Dream Landscape. "Don't interfere. Just watch the show." Lin Moyu's voice was flat and calm, but Elder Dream Landscape trembled all over. He knew this was Lin Moyu warning him. He told him to watch the show, naturally referring to a monkey show. The phantom god Holy Sun had already been treated as a monkey by Lin Moyu. Elder Dream Landscape realized that the situation had actually been out of his control from the very beginning. When Lin Moyu stepped onto the stage, the initiative in this matter had already fallen into Lin Moyu's hands. Only when Lin Moyu said to stop could it stop. If Lin Moyu didn't stop, they had no way to intervene. Lin Moyu's meaning was very clear. "I suggested you change your heir, you refused, so I'll help you change him." The phantom god Holy Sun, being ignored by Lin Moyu, gradually became crazed in his eyes. "I'll kill you." Lin Moyu, with disdain and an extremely contemptuous attitude, said, "You don't have that ability." "Ah!" The phantom god Holy Sun roared, 10,000 phenomena collapse. Countless cracks appeared on the mirror, and this space also shattered along with it. Lin Moyu sighed, "Why can't you learn? It's useless." He didn't make any movement at all. The power of the space great Tao spread out, like a large hand, instantly smoothing out the shattered space. As a result, the space remained intact, but the cracks on the surface of the 10,000 phenomena mirror couldn't recover. The phantom god Holy Sun screamed incessantly. He was now inside the 10,000 phenomena mirror, and his body was cracking along with the mirror. Blood seeped out from the cracks, covering the entire 10,000 phenomena mirror. Nourished by the phantom god Holy Sun's blood, the 10,000 phenomena mirror seemed to come alive. A small blood figure emerged from the blood light. The blood figure kept changing in the blood light, sometimes human, sometimes bird, sometimes beast, seeming to have countless forms. Lin Moyu smiled, "So there's a spirit hidden inside. But this spirit seems a bit fierce. I'm afraid it's a malevolent spirit. Once a spirit loses its rationality, it becomes a malevolent spirit. Malevolent spirits only know killing, and may even turn on their master. If the master is powerful enough, they can suppress and seal the malevolent spirit. But if the master is weak and accidentally releases the malevolent spirit, things get interesting." At this moment, the malevolent spirit of the 10,000 phenomena mirror was turning on the phantom god Holy Sun. Lin Moyu watched like a spectator, showing no intention of intervening. Elder Phantom Landscape said in a low voice, "The malevolent spirit is about to come out. It's going to devour the phantom god Holy Sun. We need to find a way to stop it." Elder Dream Landscape shook his head, "We can't stop it." Elder Phantom Landscape said, "Are we just going to watch the phantom god Holy Sun be devoured? Where should we put our faces?" Elder Dream Landscape laughed bitterly, "How do you want to stop it? You didn't stop the phantom god Holy Sun when he proposed to seek guidance earlier. What's the use of saying these things now? Our faces. We have no face left. Didn't you see the looks from the ancient Lotus Holy Lord, Ji Yu Kang, and Dongfang Wuding just now? Our holy land might be in big trouble this time. If it were just them, it would be fine. Don't forget there are several untouchable existences up there." Elder Phantom Landscape's gaze was complex, "We have people up there too." Elder Dream Landscape said, "It's true we have people, but can they come down? What's the difference between not being able to come down and not having anyone?" Elder Phantom Landscape was at a loss for words, not knowing what to say. Elder Dream Landscape said, I know you think highly of the Phantom God Holy Sun, but this time you really misjudged. Elder Phantom Landscape said in a low voice, do you know why I think highly of the Phantom God Holy Sun? Because he's my great-grandson. As the words fell, Elder Phantom Landscape's entire body turned into nothingness. Elder Dream Landscape inwardly exclaimed, not good. In an instant, Elder Phantom Landscape appeared at the edge of the competition platform. He crashed through the formation and rushed in. He was going to save the Phantom God Holy Sun. Lin Moyu spoke, who told you to come? He raised his finger and lightly pointed, body explosion. With a huge boom, Elder Phantom Landscape's body exploded violently, instantly turning into powder. A piece of flesh in Lin Moyu's hand also turned to dust. This flesh came from Withering and Flourishing Elder's avatar. Elder Phantom Landscape died on the spot. With just one finger, Lin Moyu had instantly killed a 9th level Dao Venerable Elder. Everyone was stunned, fear appearing on their faces. This was a 9th level Dao Venerable Elder, yet he was instantly killed without even a chance to react. How could Lin Moyu, a mere 5th level Dao Venerable, achieve this level? What happened before their eyes had completely shattered their understanding? What a terrifying fellow, a 9th level Dao Venerable, killed just like that. No wonder the Beast Emperor and others call him a fellow Taoist. His strength can no longer be measured by realm levels. We need to be careful in the future. Don't provoke this harbinger of death. Elder Dream Landscape was now trembling all over. An old friend he had known for hundreds of thousands of years was killed without a sound. Watching this scene, his face was extremely pale. Then he looked at Elder Fire Landscape beside him. As one of the 3 elders of the 10,000 Scenes Holy Land, Elder Fire Landscape was also pale now. He hadn't said a word from beginning to end, and now he was too scared to speak. The longer one lives, the more one fears death. Especially now, with the great changes in heaven and earth about to come, they all had a chance to take that step towards eternal life. How could they be willing to die now? Lin Moyu inconspicuously put away a piece of Elder Phantom Landscape's flesh, still smiling as he looked at the 10,000 Phenomena Mirror. In the 10,000 Phenomena Mirror, a malevolent spirit had awakened and was devouring the Phantom God Holy Sun. The Phantom God Holy Sun screamed incessantly, his voice terrified. To Lin Moyu's ears, it was like a beautiful melody. He had heard too many screams. Back then, the screams of countless beings were ignored by him. What did a mere Phantom God Holy Sun count for? Any being, in Lin Moyu's eyes, was no different. The Phantom God Holy Sun was not much nobler than a dog. On the upper lotus platform, the Beast Emperor laughed softly, the young friend is establishing his authority. The 3 ancestors snorted lightly, this little fox is not easy to deal with. Back then, Withering and Flourishing Elder was foolish enough to provoke him, resulting in years of planning being ruined in an instant. The King of the Boundary Sea said, I've long seen that young friend Lin is extraordinary. He has great fortune. ko-fi.com/translate-toki only donate if you want to. My Patreon is now up, go to email protected translate toki. Remove the @ symbol and type a. Chapter 3494, 3494. Chapter 3494, no longer daring to be fierce. The Phantom God Holy Sun's screams grew weaker and weaker until they disappeared completely. The malicious spirit fully awakened, and the 10,000 Phenomena Mirror had turned blood red. At this moment, the aura emanating from the 10,000 Phenomena Mirror was countless times stronger than before. The malicious spirit had taken control of the 10,000 Phenomena Mirror and could truly unleash the terrifying might of an 8th level Dao Venerable treasure. The 10,000 Phenomena Mirror split into 2, then 4, instantly becoming thousands. A large number of mirrors began to dance, blocking out the sky and sun, enveloping Lin Moyu in layers. The malicious spirit's laughter was extremely chilling, penetrating eardrums and striking directly at the soul. When the malicious spirit's laughter reached the outside world, many Dao Venerables covered their ears, their faces showing pain. But covering their ears was useless, the malicious spirit's laughter could directly pierce the soul. The elders didn't take action. They knew the malicious spirit's laughter would only cause discomfort but wouldn't do any real harm. If they couldn't even endure this level, it would be too disappointing. Blood-colored malicious spirits emerged from the mirrors, seemingly countless in number, filling the entire view with red. Lin Moyu said, "Your laughter is too unpleasant." A ball of fire suddenly exploded. The world-burning fire burned fiercely, instantly turning the entire lotus platform into a sea of flames. The malicious spirit's laughter stopped abruptly, instantly turning into screams. The world-burning fire was a supreme weapon against souls. Faced with the world-burning fire, the malicious spirit of the 10,000 phenomena mirror had no power to resist. Raging flames also burned within the mirrors, with the blood-colored malicious spirits rolling around and screaming in agony. Lin Moyu watched expressionlessly. After all, it was the spirit of an 8th-level Dao Venerable treasure. It wouldn't be so easy to burn to death. Nearby, the 9th-level elders were once again shocked. Some trembled all over, their faces and eyes filled with terror. When they saw the world-burning fire, it was as if they had seen their greatest nemesis. The 9th-level elders all lost their composure, unable to express their shock, their teeth chattering so much they could barely speak coherently. Heavenly punishment fire, how can he control heavenly punishment fire? Impossible, this is absolutely impossible. How can heavenly punishment fire be controlled by human power? This is the power of the great Tao. There must be some mistake. It's impossible for anyone to master heavenly punishment fire. Absolutely impossible. These 9th-level elders, if they were to advance one more step, would face the trial of heavenly punishment fire. They had an innate fear of heavenly punishment fire. In their understanding, heavenly punishment fire was a power belonging to the great Tao, impossible to be controlled by human power. When Lin Moyu used heavenly punishment fire, their worldview began to collapse. In the lower level, most Tao Venerables were still young and didn't know the terror of heavenly punishment fire. But seeing their elders' loss of composure, they realized that the fire Lin Moyu was using must be incredibly powerful. Only the 4 great Tao realm beings in the upper level knew the truth. The 3 ancestors sneered, they don't even recognize great Tao essence fire. How ignorant. The king of the Boundary Sea chuckled, after all, they're just Tao Venerables from the origin continent. It's normal they don't know about great Tao essence fire. The Beast Emperor said, Brother Lin's great Tao essence fire seems to have grown stronger again. The 3 ancestors said, indeed, it's stronger than before. It seems his great Tao essence fire is still growing and hasn't reached its limit yet. Who knows how powerful it will ultimately become. The Beast Emperor pondered, if it could reach that level, he could truly walk sideways in the soul void. The 3 ancestors said, even now, it's not bad. Most dangers in the soul void can't do anything to him. The king of the Boundary Sea smiled, if he really reaches that level, it probably won't be a problem for young friend Lin to become a Tao Lord. The 3 ancestors sighed, it's a pity that Crucible disappeared. Otherwise, combined with the great Tao essence fire, the soul void would become his backyard. The Beast Emperor said, some things are better left unthought of. That item is too strange. The karmic ties involved are too great. I don't dare to touch it even once. The 3 ancestors said, as if I dare to touch it. By the way, how's your ice fire Tao stone coming along? Any effect? The Beast Emperor said, of course there's an effect. I'm almost in contact. What about you? The 3 ancestors said, I'm about the same. The Beast Emperor looked at the King of the Boundary Sea, Old Black, I still envy you. The King of the Boundary Sea snorted, who told you to lack courage back then? We agreed beforehand, when the time comes, I'll be killing people. Don't interfere. The 3 ancestors said, I couldn't care less. If those fellows want to come seeking death, it's none of my business. The Beast Emperor also said, same here. I can only manage my own people. If others come seeking death, kill them as you please. Examoon didn't speak. The more she listened, the more she felt something was off. She hadn't interacted with the 3 ancestors and others before. Today was the first time. She had thought they were like her, great Tao realm beings trying to find ways to stay in the origin continent. Her understanding of the soul void was far inferior to theirs, and some of the things they mentioned were completely unheard of to her. The matters these 3 spoke of were too high level, and she couldn't even understand parts of it. The 3 seemed to be speaking in riddles. She suddenly realized that behind the Beast Emperor and the other 2, there must either be extremely powerful forces, or they were avatars of some powerful being, coming to the origin continent to seek opportunities for breakthrough. After laying plans for so many years, they were just waiting for the great changes to come. As soon as the origin catastrophe ended, they had already been planning for today. Such figures were too terrifying. Examoon felt that even her Lotus sect shouldn't provoke these 3. What they were pursuing was definitely not simple. The world-burning fire burned fiercely. His world-burning fire was mistaken for heavenly punishment fire by the 9th level elders, and for great Tao essence fire by the 3 ancestors and others. Only he himself knew clearly that this was neither heavenly punishment fire nor great Tao essence fire, but the even more miraculous world-burning fire. It could not only burn souls but also refine them, and even refine entire worlds. Under the scorching of the world-burning fire, the malicious spirit of the 10,000 phenomena mirror finally couldn't withstand it and began to beg softly for mercy. Please, spare me. I was wrong. I won't dare to do it again. Lin Moyu smiled. This was what he had been waiting for. Not so fierce now. The malicious spirit said softly, not fierce anymore. I don't dare to be fierce again. Lin Moyu said, either accept me as your master, or be burned to death by me. Choose one, right now. The malicious spirit didn't hesitate at all. I'm willing to accept you as master. I'm willing with all my heart. The raging sea of fire gradually shrank. Lin Moyu condensed a world-burning fire the size of a soybean. Come and swallow it. The half-crippled malicious spirit tremblingly flew out of the 10,000 phenomena mirror. It fearfully swallowed the world-burning fire. Through his undead eye, Lin Moyu saw a world-burning fire bloom within the malicious spirit's soul flame. This world-burning fire had merged with the malicious spirit. With just a thought from him, no matter how far away, this world-burning fire would explode on the spot, burning the malicious spirit to ashes. With it there was no need to worry about the malicious spirit betraying him. This method was more effective than any oath. Lin Moyu said, all right, as long as you obey obediently, I won't kill you. The malicious spirit had lost its ferocity and nodded obediently, I will obey. Lin Moyu said, from now on, you'll be called Little Fierce. Go back now, I'll heal your wounds later. The malicious spirit obediently returned to the 10,000 phenomena mirror. All the mirrors fused back into one, and the 10,000 phenomena mirror once again became a small box, falling into Lin Moyu's hand. From the moment he tamed the malicious spirit, the 10,000 phenomena mirror belonged to him. ko-fi.com/translate-toki only donate if you want to. My Patreon is now up. Go to email protected translate toki. Remove the @ symbol and type a. Chapter 3495, 3495. Chapter 3495, Selfishness is also a way. Lin Moyu put away the 10,000 phenomena mirror as if it had always been his, without any regard for the 10,000 scenes Holy Land's feelings. Slowly flying out from the competition platform, he looked at the three elders of the 10,000 scenes Holy Land from afar. Your Holy Land's phantom god Holy Sun was killed by the malicious spirit. Fortunately, this mirror's malicious spirit has been tamed by me. I will temporarily keep this mirror for your Holy Land for a while. What do the three elders think? Keeping it, everyone knew that once something was kept, it would never be returned. But how could the three elders of the 10,000 scenes Holy Land dare to ask Lin Moyu to return the 10,000 phenomena mirror now? Everyone had seen that although the phantom god Holy Sun didn't die by Lin Moyu's hand, he died because of Lin Moyu. Now the phantom god Holy Sun was dead, the 10,000 phenomena mirror was lost, and they, three mighty 9th level elders, didn't dare to make a sound. To say they had lost face would be an understatement. They had completely disgraced themselves. But they couldn't bring themselves to say a word of disagreement. After several awkward seconds, Elder Dream Landscape finally spoke, then we'll trouble Mr. Lin. Not only could they not refuse, but they also had to be polite, addressing Lin Moyu as Mr. Lin Moyu nodded. If the 10,000 scenes Holy Land has any issues in the future, you can send someone to notify me. I'll help if I can. After saying this, Lin Moyu returned to the upper level, disappearing into the clouds and mist. The disciples, competition wasn't over yet. Although the incident with the 10,000 scenes Holy Land's phantom god Holy Sun had occurred, the scheduled proceedings still had to continue. The ancient Lotus Holy Lord would continue to preside. Returning to the upper Lotus platform, the Beast Emperor laughed heartily. Fellow Taoist Lin is quite impressive. Lin Moyu said, I had no choice. The situation demanded it. He started it, and I was just forced to respond. The three ancestors said, what a good, forced response. To be able to say this with such a clear conscience, your face is truly thick enough. Lin Moyu said, I'm just learning from the three ancestors. Although he knew their true identities might be shocking, Lin Moyu didn't change his attitude. He remained the same as before. Hearing Lin Moyu speak like this, the three ancestors didn't get angry. Instead, their tone became gentle. Having thick skin is a good thing. Sometimes you can't think too much or worry too much. Just do what your conscience allows, don't always try to please everyone. The more you try to do so, the harder it becomes to please anyone. At this moment, the three ancestors were like a mentor teaching a promising junior, imparting some wisdom. For beings at the level of the three ancestors, sometimes one or two sentences from them might be more useful than listening to an entire lecture. If not every word was a pearl of wisdom, it was at least enough to guide one's Tao heart. Lin Moyu naturally understood the meaning behind the three ancestors' words. He half-jokingly said, "The three ancestors are right. I'm quite selfish and have always only cared about myself." The three ancestors chuckled. Selfishness is also a way. The disciples, competition began again. Lin Moyu had no interest in these childish fights. Without realizing it, Lin Moyu was already high above, looking down on all beings. Watching them fight at most made Lin Moyu feel a bit nostalgic, remembering when he too was like them, participating in competition after competition to prove himself. It seemed this was something all those who became high-level beings had to experience. Lin Moyu's Tao heart was clear. Past and future intertwined at this moment, and he saw clearly the path ahead of him. Mist appeared in his eyes as he saw his own fortune rising. A large amount of fortune was converging from all directions, and Lin Moyu's fortune was growing. The small competition with the phantom god Holy Sun just now, and the appearance of the world-burning fire, had rapidly elevated his status in the eyes of the various elders. If they weren't fools, the top forces would know they shouldn't provoke him, that they couldn't afford to provoke him. Although nothing was said on the surface, those elders had already placed him on the same level as the three ancestors and the Beast Emperor. Their will and thoughts were reflected in the fortune, and part of the fortune of various top forces fell on him as a result. Ordinary people couldn't see or feel this. Without cultivating the fortune Great Tao, even Great Tao realm beings like the three ancestors might not be able to sense changes in fortune. The three ancestors could only sense fortune through some special treasures. But Lin Moyu could clearly see the changes in fortune. While seeing the changes in fortune, Lin Moyu also began to understand the three ancestors' plans. Spreading the Lufeng Chamber of Commerce throughout the world was like setting up numerous points, using the name of the Lufeng Chamber of Commerce and himself as a banner to collect the fortune of heaven and earth. In the eyes of the three ancestors, fortune was also a very important part of their overall plan. Unfortunately, your arrangements might not be correct, Lin Moyu said silently in his heart. He didn't believe the methods of the three ancestors and the Beast Emperor were correct. Becoming the true dominator in the great changes of heaven and earth wasn't so easy. The competition lasted a full day before ending. The ancient Lotus Immortal Banquet entered its third phase, lectures by the various elders. Just as the lectures were about to begin, the king of the Boundary Sea put down his wine cup. This king should take his leave. The Beast Emperor also chimed in, this emperor will leave too. After drinking so much wine, it's time to go back and have a good nap. The three ancestors chuckled, then let's leave together. Examoon didn't try to keep the three. Her beautiful face carried a smile. Examoon wishes the three of you success in your endeavors. The three's forms faded simultaneously, becoming indistinct and vanishing. Lin Moyu said, then this junior will also take his leave. Examoon said, fellow Taoist Lin won't stay a few more days. Lin Moyu said, my business here is done, so I won't stay longer. I wish Elder Examoon a speedy recovery from your injuries. Examoon didn't try to keep him further. If that's the case, then I won't force fellow Taoist Lin to stay. Take care, fellow Taoist Lin. Lin Moyu smiled and flew down from the upper level. At this time, an elder had already begun lecturing, and everyone was listening attentively. Not many people noticed Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu came to Little May's side. Little May, it's time to go. Although Little May was somewhat reluctant to leave the delicious food, she was still obedient. She wiped her hands. Okay. The ancient Lotus Holy Lord and the Immortal Lotus Holy Maiden both stood up. The ancestor has said that the Immortal Lotus will see Mr. Lin out. Lin Moyu smiled, thank you for your trouble. The Immortal Lotus Holy Maiden summoned a lotus flower to take Lin Moyu and Little May away. On the way out of the ancient Lotus Holy Land, the Immortal Lotus Holy Maiden suddenly asked, where will Mr. Lin go next? Lin Moyu said, I've been away for a long time. It's time to go back and check on things. If the Immortal Lotus has time, you can come visit Yudao City in the Eastern Continent. The Immortal Lotus Holy Maiden smiled, the Immortal Lotus will come. Will Mr. Lin attend the next genius competition? Lin Moyu said, it depends on the situation. I might come or might not. The world changes, and no one can say for sure. The immortal Lotus Holy Maiden nodded and didn't speak further. The lotus flower flew out of the ancient Lotus Holy Land. Lin Moyu summoned the cloud-piercing sword for Little May to sit on, and they quickly pierced through the clouds and disappeared. The immortal Lotus Holy Maiden watched until Lin Moyu was out of sight before slowly saying, "Take care." Her tone and gaze were complex, carrying a hint of helplessness. She stood there for a long while before turning to go back. ko-fi.com/translate-toki only donate if you want to. My Patreon is now up. Go to email protected translate toki. Remove the @ symbol and type a. Chapter 3496, 3496. Chapter 3496, Cause and Effect Great Tao, Question Fruit Mirror. On the cloud-piercing sword, Little May had a mischievous expression. "Teacher, it seems the immortal Lotus Holy Maiden has taken a liking to you." Lin Moyu asked in return, "Little May, did you have a Tao companion in your previous life?" Little May didn't react immediately, instinctively shaking her head. Lin Moyu continued asking, "What about this life?" Little May said curiously, "Teacher, what are you talking about? I'm still so young." Lin Moyu said, "Since you've never had a Tao companion, what do you know about love?" So that's what he was getting at. Little May strongly refuted, "Teacher, although I've never had a Tao companion, I've eaten pork even if I haven't killed a pig. I've seen many Tao companions in the Holy Land." Lin Moyu said, "Seeing is different from experiencing yourself. Don't talk nonsense if you don't understand." Little May snorted, "Anyway, I can tell that the immortal Lotus Holy Maiden really likes you, teacher." Lin Moyu shook his head. "These things aren't so simple. Your teacher won't develop feelings for anyone else. Your 7 teacher mothers." At this point, Lin Moyu stopped speaking. There were some things he didn't want to talk about. If he continued, he would end up cursing that green-robed old man again. Little May said, all right, we won't talk about it then." "Teacher, are we going back to the Eastern continent now?" Lin Moyu nodded. "We've been away for so long, it's time to go back." Little May made an "oh" sound. "Then are we going to take the Lu Feng Chamber of Commerce's warship again?" Lin Moyu said, "No need. We'll cross over directly. It's faster this way." The Hurricane warship had to fly along specific routes. To enter Yudao City, they would have to take a big detour. Previously, they took the Hurricane warship because Lin Moyu's strength wasn't sufficient and to save energy. Now with the cloud-piercing sword in hand, there was naturally no need. After adjusting the direction, the cloud-piercing sword flew in a straight line towards Yudao City. Lin Moyu took out the 10,000 phenomena mirror, at the same time flicking a spirit flower into the mirror to heal the newly subdued Little Fierce. Spirit flowers were effective for treasure spirits as well. Little May asked, "Teacher, what's special about this 10,000 phenomena mirror?" With Lin Moyu's perspective, an 8th level Dao Venerable treasure wouldn't be enough for him to forcibly take it like this. Little May knew that Lin Moyu must have his own reasons for doing this. This treasure couldn't be so simple. Lin Moyu held the 10,000 phenomena mirror, which unfolded in his hand from a folded square box into a mirror about the size of a human head. The mirror looked extremely exquisite, emitting a peculiar aura. Lin Moyu said, "This is a rare cause and effect treasure." Little May said, "A cause and effect treasure? How did you figure that out, teacher?" To outsiders, the 10,000 phenomena mirror seemed more like an illusion-type treasure, using illusions to reflect reality. Even Elder Phantom Landscape used to think so. Lin Moyu said, "Because it told me itself." At that time, to save its life, the malicious spirit secretly told Lin Moyu inside the 10,000 phenomena mirror that it was a cause and effect treasure. Because these words were spoken inside the 10,000 phenomena mirror, no one except Lin Moyu knew. A moment later, a small spirit appeared on the 10,000 phenomena mirror. Little Fierce's injuries had healed. It didn't look like a malicious spirit at all, appearing no different from other treasure spirits. Lin Moyu smiled and said, "Tell me, why did you pretend to be a malicious spirit?" Little Fierce answered honestly. In response to Master's question, "It's because only by disguising myself as a malicious spirit would they not talk to me. If I told them I was a cause and effect treasure, they would definitely keep using me, making me do all sorts of things. I hate that." This little treasure spirit had quite a temper, actually disguising itself as a malicious spirit just to avoid being used by others. Little May snorted, "If you're lazy, just say so. No need for so many excuses." Little Fierce immediately denied Little May's words. It's not that I'm lazy, it's because I'm afraid of cause and effect. For a cause and effect treasure to say it's afraid of cause and effect sounds laughable. Lin Moyu seemed to understand something. Although you're a cause and effect treasure, when used, you also have to bear the cause and effect. If there's too much cause and effect, even you can't withstand it. Little Fierce said, that's right. I'm the spirit of a cause and effect treasure, not the lord of the cause and effect great Tao. Not just me, even those in the cause and effect great Tao can't withstand it. My previous master died like this. There was too much cause and effect, and he couldn't withstand the backlash. Little Fierce disguised itself as a malicious spirit with the true purpose of hiding the fact that it was a cause and effect treasure. This way, it wouldn't need to be involved in cause and effect. In the end, it was all about survival. Little May asked, then why are you telling us now? Little Fierce said, Master is too fierce. If I didn't say it, I'd be dead. Lin Moyu chuckled. Then tell me, what are your abilities? Don't try to deceive me, you know what will happen. Little Fierce said, actually, I'm not called the 10,000 Phenomena Mirror. My previous master named me the Question Fruit Mirror. My ability is to reverse cause and effect. I can complete the effect first, then seek the cause. However, if the cause can't be found, there will be a backlash, and the backlash is terrifying. Lin Moyu asked, how did your previous master die? Little Fierce said, it was during the origin catastrophe. My previous master reversed cause and effect to kill a Black Blood Sword Saint from the Black Blood realm, but he couldn't find the cause, so he was backlashed by the cause and effect Great Tao and perished. Master, you need to be careful when using me. Don't use me recklessly. Finding the cause is very difficult. The cause and effect Great Tao is one of the most mysterious Great Taos. Very few can comprehend it, and even fewer have seen it. Its ability to reverse cause and effect is indeed terrifying, but the backlash is equally horrifying. Lin Moyu hasn't comprehended the cause and effect Great Tao yet, so he can't further understand it. For now, he's not considering using it. As for the usage by the 10,000 Scenes Holy Land, that's just the most basic application of the cause and effect Great Tao, not reaching the level of reversing cause and effect. It's just using the cause and effect Great Tao to copy and amplify attacks, nothing special. Lin Moyu said, I understand. I won't use it recklessly. Little Fierce had become very obedient now. If there's nothing else, I'll go back now. Lin Moyu made an sound. I'll call you if I need anything. Little Fierce zipped back into the Question Fruit Mirror. Lin Moyu put it away, muttering softly, reversing cause and effect is indeed a domineering ability. If one could withstand the backlash, it could truly become the strongest killing method, almost unrivaled. What a pity, hurting the enemy by 1,000 but also hurting oneself by 1,000 makes it somewhat useless. It can only be used when both sides are going to perish anyway. He was thinking, if he used his new life talent, could he withstand the cause and effect backlash? If so, while others would have to exchange one life for one life, he had countless lives. Wouldn't that mean he could exchange lives? If that were true, not just in the origin continent, even facing those powerful existences in the Great Tao realm, he wouldn't need to be afraid. Little May curiously asked, does teacher plan to comprehend the cause and effect Great Tao? Lin Moyu shook his head. I don't have such plans for now. I've comprehended enough Great Taos at present. If I try to comprehend more, my cultivation speed will become too slow. Let's take it slow. If there's time in the future, I'll comprehend some other Great Taos as a pastime. For others, comprehending a Great Tao is as difficult as ascending to heaven, but in Lin Moyu's mouth, it became a pastime. If others heard this, they would definitely curse Lin Moyu for 3 days and 3 nights. 2 days later, the cloud-piercing sword flew out of the southern continent and entered the vast boundary sea. ko-fi.com/translate-toki only donate if you want to. My Patreon is now up. Go to email protected translate toki. Remove the @ symbol and type a. Chapter 3497, 3497. Chapter 3497, the small town that fell from the sky. The boundary sea was vast, and the cloud-piercing sword flashed by. At first, they could occasionally see small islands where people lived, and some even had sects established on them. Dark clouds gradually pressed down, covering the boundary sea with clouds that never dispersed. Even the light from the 2 great origins could hardly penetrate this thick layer of black clouds. The sea water became increasingly dark. Without light, the sea surface became cold and painful. The world became more and more oppressive. Lin Moyu stopped talking and continued to study the divine rune materials given by Examoon. Little May also closed her mouth and began to focus on cultivation. After the ancient Lotus Immortal banquet, Little May had eaten too many good things, and her cultivation was progressing rapidly. She had now reached the peak of the God King realm, just one step away from the sacred Venerable realm. Little May had reached the peak of the God King realm twice before, but because her cultivation method required her to suppress her realm 3 times, this was the time for her true breakthrough. Several days later, Little May's aura fluctuated and then soared. The limitations of the God King realm broke with a sound, and Little May stepped into the sacred Venerable realm in one go. Part of her accumulated power burst forth at this moment, pushing Little May's realm to rise all the way until it stopped at the middle stage of the sacred Venerable realm. Even now, Little May hadn't fully refined all the food she had eaten at the ancient Lotus Immortal banquet. Little May didn't just eat, she ate while packing quite a lot. At that time, the Immortal Lotus Holy Maiden and the ancient Lotus Holy Lord were sitting next to Little May. They had no objections to Little May's actions. The Immortal Lotus Holy Maiden even helped Little May get some good things. Little May had taken full advantage of her childish appearance. Who could have guessed that Little May was once a being who had reached the 9th level of the Tao Venerable realm? The cloud-piercing sword flew in the boundary sea for over 10 days, getting closer and closer to the eastern continent. During these days, Lin Moyu continuously studied the divine rune materials, deepening his understanding of divine runes. He felt that he could now set up divine rune formations, and his understanding of divine runes was no longer inferior to Jiyu Hanyu's. When this feeling appeared, Lin Moyu didn't hesitate at all and immediately began experimenting in his soul world. Pure soul power fused with powdered origin crystals to form the ink needed to draw divine runes. His soul freely wielded it, sketching out one complex divine rune after another. The divine runes condensed without dispersing in the soul world, combining with each other to form a small divine rune formation. The divine rune formation wasn't complex. Lin Moyu had only transformed the sealing formation he was quite skilled at into a divine rune formation, and it was just the simplest transformation. According to his estimation, the 4th grade sealing formation, after being transformed into a divine rune formation, should have an effect around the 5th grade. This was the result calculated after using 8th grade origin crystals. But the final effect still exceeded his imagination. The transformed divine rune formation had an effect comparable to a 6th grade formation. Divine rune formations are truly marvelous. Lin Moyu's soul murmured to itself. He had only transformed the sealing formation to be set up with divine runes, yet the effect was so good. At that time, with the space-rending formation set up, even if a 9th level elder came, they wouldn't be able to leave unscathed. Lin Moyu decided that after returning this time, he would change all the formations outside Yudao City into divine rune formations, and set them up as space-rending formations. This way, even if he wasn't there, who would dare to come and provoke them? The way of divine runes is profound and extensive. According to Elder Examoon, true divine rune formations only exist in the Great Tao Formation sect. The Great Tao Formation sect can integrate extremely complex formations into a single divine rune. When the divine rune appears, the formation is complete, even more useful than formation discs. If one could truly reach this level, perhaps they could truly step into the way of formations. This level could only be imagined for now, and it wasn't good to think too much about it. Being overly ambitious wouldn't do any good. In his soul world, Lin Moyu tried setting up divine rune formations again and again. He transformed some formations he was familiar with, changing them all into divine rune formations. The effects after transformation were all very good, with at least a 1-grade improvement. The cloud-piercing sword flew in the boundary sea for a full 20 days before the coastline finally appeared in their view. They officially entered the Eastern Continent territory, not far from Yudao City. Little May's realm was now firmly established at the middle stage of the sacred Venerable realm. Her storage ring still contained a lot of food packed from the Immortal banquet. If she ate it all, Little May's realm could at least rise to the peak of the sacred Venerable realm, possibly even stepping into the other shore realm. "Teacher, are we almost there?" Little May asked. Lin Moyu looked into the distance, seeming to see Yudao City across the infinite distance. Almost. At their current speed, it would take about 3 more days of flying to arrive. Lin Moyu felt his speed was still too slow. Limited by his realm, he couldn't bring out the cloud-piercing sword's fastest speed. If he could be like the Beast Emperor and the three ancestors, it wouldn't take so long at all. At most, it would take an hour to fly from the southern continent to Yudao City. Although his combat power was strong, his realm was still there. Some things were difficult to change. After flying for 2 more days, they got closer and closer to Yudao City, but Lin Moyu sensed something was off. Along the way, they saw quite a few people, all heading in the same direction as them, towards Yudao City. Lin Moyu felt puzzled. When did Yudao City become so lively? The human emperor didn't tell me about this. The avatar next to the human emperor spoke up to ask, "Human emperor, what's the current situation in Yudao City?" The human emperor replied, "Everything is normal in Yudao City." Lin Moyu asked curiously, "On my way back, I saw many people seemingly heading towards Yudao City." The human emperor said, "Recently, there have indeed been quite a few people coming to Yudao City. The reason is that about a month ago, something fell from the sky about 1,000,000 miles east of Yudao City." The human emperor controlled the entire Yudao City and knew about various things happening in the city. People who went to explore that town that fell from the sky returned to Yudao City to discuss it, which is how the human emperor found out. Otherwise, being 1,000,000 miles away, the human emperor couldn't manage such a distant place. Lin Moyu asked, "What were the results of the exploration? What's in that small town?" The human emperor said, "From what we know so far, a few people obtained some ancient treasures from it, but we're not clear on the specifics of these treasures. However, the small town isn't safe. Many people who went in haven't come out." Lin Moyu frowned slightly. "Have any of our people gone in?" The human emperor said, "Currently, we can't confirm the level of danger, so I haven't sent anyone in." Lin Moyu nodded. "It's good not to go. Wait until I come back and take a look before making a decision." His gaze carried thoughtfulness. A small town that fell from the sky. Could it be a relic from beyond the sky? If it really is a relic from beyond the sky, it seems the great changes in heaven and earth are getting closer and closer. All sorts of strange things are starting to happen. ko-fi.com/translate-toki only donate if you want to. My Patreon is now up. Go to email protected translate toki. Remove the @ symbol and type a. Chapter 3498. 3498. Chapter 3498. Found a big sister. Half a day later, Lin Moyu finally stepped into the territory of Yudao City, which was bounded by the origin spirit vein. Lin Moyu put away the cloud-piercing sword and activated the origin spirit vein's teleportation, directly arriving outside Yudao City. Outside Yudao City, people were coming and going, making it extremely lively. Having been away for many years, Lin Moyu could barely recognize Yudao City. Lin Moyu and Little Mei's sudden appearance didn't attract anyone's attention. As soon as Lin Moyu arrived, the human emperor's phantom appeared beside him, quickly solidifying. The human emperor chuckled, "The realm lord has finally returned." Lin Moyu smiled and said, "These years must have been hard on you." The human emperor said, "Not at all. Managing Yudao City is a form of cultivation for me. Seeing Yudao City grow larger and our people firmly taking root here makes me happy." The human emperor was still the war god from years ago, wholeheartedly devoted to the human race of the Great World. Now that the Great World was prosperous, and at the same time, the humans from the Great World had firmly taken root in the origin continent, he was the happiest. Usually, Lin Moyu rarely inquired about Yudao City's affairs. Since he had already entrusted Yudao City to the human emperor's management, he completely trusted the human emperor and didn't need to ask about it himself. Although Lin Moyu didn't manage it, the human emperor still gave Lin Moyu a brief report on Yudao City's situation. Under the human emperor's management, Yudao City had developed extremely smoothly. It was now a truly great city, with a population exceeding 50 million. The Lufeng Chamber of Commerce had also contributed significantly. Various chambers of commerce had settled in, making Yudao City prosperous. Not just humans, but many from the beast race had come as well. Even several beast clans had set up offices here. The beast race didn't cause trouble because this was Lin Moyu's city, and Lin Moyu was a fellow Taoist of the Beast Emperor. The 10 royal clans all had to give face to Lin Moyu. When people from the royal clans came to Yudao City, not only did they behave themselves, but they even helped manage other beast race members. In short, over these years, Yudao City had been very smooth, without any problems. Lin Moyu asked, "Those girls haven't caused any trouble, have they?" The human emperor smiled and said, the young ladies have been very well behaved. Apart from cultivation, everything else is fine. Lin Moyu had already guessed. With Little Mist around, Little Yu would definitely be influenced and couldn't be too enthusiastic about cultivation. Lin Moyu smiled, it's fine. I've found them a big sister. Someone will keep them in line from now on. The human emperor looked at Little May beside him, is it this young lady? He didn't doubt it. Every decision Lin Moyu made seemed to have never been wrong. Lin Moyu said, her name is Little May. She's my newest disciple. Little May greeted the human emperor, hello, human emperor. I'm Little May. Little, as in small, May, as in plum blossom. Looking at the adorable Little May, even the human emperor's old face squeezed out a smile, hello, Little May. Although Little May was cute, he didn't quite understand why Lin Moyu said Little May was the big sister. Lin Moyu naturally wouldn't hide it from the human emperor, Little May is a reincarnation of someone who voluntarily dissolved their physical body. In her previous life, Little May was a 9th level elder, so there's no problem with her being the big sister. The human emperor's gaze revealed a hint of surprise. Lin Moyu noticed the human emperor's expression, human emperor, you seem a bit different. The human emperor said, yes, I feel a bit different too. It seems to be the influence of Yudao City. Parasitic in a technological treasure, the former human emperor wouldn't have any emotions, at least not showing joy, anger, sorrow, or happiness in his expression. But just now, the human emperor not only smiled but also showed surprise. These were all things that didn't exist before, indicating that the human emperor was undergoing changes. Back when they were in the mall, Lu Lian had already become indistinguishable from a real person. Now the human emperor seemed to be going through a similar change. But compared to Lu Lian, he was still quite far behind. The human emperor escorted Lin Moyu into the city. Lin Moyu's residence hadn't changed location and was now the best place in Yudao City apart from the city lord's mansion. Many people in Yudao City knew that in this not-so-large courtyard lived the disciples of Yudao City's city lord. Lin Moyu walked into the familiar courtyard. Before he even entered, he could hear Little Mist's chattering voice. Little Mist was playing with Little Yu, while only Little Wu was quietly drinking tea on the side. After many years, the three hadn't changed much. The moment they saw Lin Moyu, all three froze in place. A second later, Little Mist let out a wah and pounced on Lin Moyu, hanging on him like a koala. No matter how many years passed, Little Mist's ability to do this never changed. Little Mist cried out, Master, you're finally back. I missed you so much. Tears fell with her shouts, landing on Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu could feel that Little Mist was very excited. Previously, Little Mist could sense Lin Moyu's general location. Every time he was about to return, Little Mist would know in advance. But now, as Lin Moyu's realm got higher and higher, especially after his soul reached the innate level, Little Mist could no longer sense his location. Teacher, Father, Little Yu and Little Wu ran to Lin Moyu, sweetly calling out to him. They were also excited but wouldn't express it as dramatically as Little Mist. Lin Moyu looked at them, not bad. Although you've been held back by this girl, your cultivation has made some progress. Before Lin Moyu left, he had released part of the divine thunder he had absorbed and set up a formation. All three could enter to absorb it. Little Yu had now reached the middle stage of the heavenly venerable realm, not far from the high stage, showing significant progress. Little Wu had firmly established herself at the second level of the Tao venerable realm, with the next step being to break through to the third level. Only Little Mist remained at the early stage of the first level of the Tao venerable realm, showing little progress. Although cultivation slowed down after the Tao venerable realm, even Little Wu had made progress, while Little Mist had remained stagnant, which was a bit unreasonable. Little Mist's talent was no worse than anyone else's. With the fortune great Tao in her body and strong fortune, she was just too playful. Lin Moyu wanted to put down this little girl who didn't like to cultivate, but Little Mist wouldn't let go no matter what. Little Wu asked, Father, who is this sister? Only then did Little Mist notice that there was a little girl standing beside Lin Moyu. Little May introduced herself, I'm Little May, teacher's new disciple. Little Mist said, Master, you've found us another sister. Lin Moyu shook his head, Little May isn't your sister, she's your elder sister. Huh, the three didn't quite understand. Lin Moyu said, Little May was a 9th level elder in her previous life. From now on, when I'm not around, she'll be in charge of supervising your cultivation. Especially you, Little Mist. You must listen to Little May from now on, or Little May will spank you. The three could never have imagined that Little May's previous life was as a 9th level elder. Without Lin Moyu saying anything, Little May had already explained about her previous life. The aura she displayed at this moment was completely unlike what a 15 or 16-year-old girl should have. She talked about some things from her previous life, leaving the others stunned. Even Little Mist was attracted, letting go of Lin Moyu. Seeing Little May quickly integrate with the three and subtly become the big sister, Lin Moyu felt relieved. All four were his family members, with no distinction based on cultivation realm here. Little May had the lowest cultivation, yet she could become the big sister to the others. With her previous life's cultivation experience, he no longer needed to worry about Little Yu and the others' cultivation. Lin Moyu prepared a relatively basic version of his insights on divine runes and gave it to the four, letting Little May supervise as they comprehended and cultivated together. He then teleported to the Lu Feng Chamber of Commerce. Chapter 3499, 3499. Chapter 3499, What face does a 5th level Dao Venerable need? After many years, the Lu Feng Chamber of Commerce in Yudao City was still managed by Lu Shui. Over these years, the Lu Feng Chamber of Commerce had been unparalleled in Yudao City, with no other large or small chamber of commerce able to compare. Lu Shui, as the manager of the Chamber of Commerce, also held quite a high position in Yudao City. Lu Shui greets Mr. Lin. Lu Shui bowed to Lin Moyu with a hint of respect. She was well aware that no matter how her status changed, Lin Moyu played a crucial role. Even her ability to manage here was because of Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu smiled and said, Miss Lu Shui, after not seeing you for so many years, your aura has become even more refined. Lu Shui smiled, it's all thanks to Mr. Lin's blessing. I wonder if there's anything Lu Shui can help with on Mr. Lin's return this time. Lin Moyu said, do you know about that small town that fell from the sky a million miles away? Lu Shui said, I know a little, but not much. To be honest with Mr. Lin, many people have come to our Chamber of Commerce recently to purchase related information, but I imagine this information wouldn't be of interest to Mr. Lin. How about this, we'll contact Miss Lu Lian for Mr. Lin. Perhaps Mr. Lin can get what you want from her. Lin Moyu nodded, that's fine, go ahead and contact her. Lu Shui led Lin Moyu to a private room on the 2nd floor of the Chamber of Commerce and activated a formation in front of Lin Moyu. After activating the formation, Lu Shui immediately withdrew. She knew well that some conversations weren't for her to hear. A moment later, Lu Lian's voice came from within the formation, Lu Shui, what's the matter? Lin Moyu smiled and said, Miss Lu Lian, this is Lin Moyu. It's been a while. Lu Lian said, oh, it's you. It hasn't been that long. Do you need something? Lu Lian's voice was somewhat cold, but she was like this with almost everyone, only slightly softer when speaking to the three ancestors. Lin Moyu said, I've come to buy some information about the small town outside Yudao City. Lu Lian said, that small town is very far from Yudao City. Why do you want information about it? Hearing this, Lin Moyu was slightly surprised inwardly. Normally, Lu Lian shouldn't speak like this. She would either directly tell him whether she could sell the information or not. If she could sell it, she would quote a price. If she couldn't, she would directly refuse. But speaking like this meant that this small town was not ordinary. Lin Moyu said, a million miles isn't that far, and it's not that close either. As it happens, I'm planning to expand Yudao City's territory in the near future. By then, it might be less than a million miles away. So I really need to understand its background. Lu Lian was silent for 2 seconds before saying, actually, you don't need to go. That small town will leave soon. Lin Moyu frowned slightly, is it returning to the sky? Just from Lu Lian's answer, Lin Moyu had basically confirmed its origin. Lu Lian was silent for a few more seconds before speaking again, yes, it will return to the sky. Its descent this time was just an accident. I don't recommend you go there. Lin Moyu asked, is this the three ancestors' opinion? If it's the three ancestors' opinion, I'd like to hear the reason. Lu Lian fell silent again. A moment later, the three ancestors' voice suddenly sounded, Little Lin, that small town indeed came down from the sky. You can consider it part of a relic from beyond the sky. Its fall this time was just an accident, and it will return soon. I'm almost ready on my end. In a while, I'll be able to take you to visit the relic from beyond the sky, so you really don't need to go to the small town. Listening to the three ancestors' words, Lin Moyu felt increasingly uneasy. Three ancestors, why don't you just tell me the truth? What's so special about that small town? The three ancestors' voice carried a hint of helplessness. I know you must be very curious. I can only tell you that in that small town, there's a being that's neither dead nor alive. It's best not to disturb it. If it's not really dead and you wake it up, it will be very troublesome. Lin Moyu asked, is it something from outside? The three ancestors directly denied it. It's not. It's something we created, but it had a small problem and became unable to distinguish friend from foe. It was originally sleeping in the relic from beyond the sky. This time, there was a small accident on my end, and it fell down along with the small town. Fortunately, I've already dealt with it. In about 10 days, it will leave this place, so you don't need to go. Lin Moyu said, three ancestors, why don't you stop others, but only prevent me from going? The three ancestors said, those fellows don't have that ability. It's sleeping in the very center of the small town. They simply can't get in there. Lin Moyu understood. The small town was originally part of the relic from beyond the sky, flying nicely above the origin continent, but the three ancestors accidentally brought it down. Coincidentally, in the center of the small town, there was also something that couldn't distinguish friend from foe. If it were released, it would cause unnecessary trouble. The three ancestors weren't worried about others because they didn't have the ability, but they were specifically concerned about Lin Moyu. Because Lin Moyu's exploration ability was too strong, he was very likely to reach the center of the small town. Lin Moyu asked, are you sure it won't wake up on its own? The three ancestors thought for a moment. It shouldn't. Hearing the three ancestors' words, Lin Moyu chuckled twice. You don't seem very certain. The three ancestors spoke matter-of-factly. In this world, there are always unexpected events. Nothing can be truly certain. I can only say it shouldn't wake up, but I can't rule out possibilities beyond, shouldn't. Lin Moyu said, what if it does wake up? The three ancestors said, I'll find a way to deal with it. 1,000,000 miles wasn't that far, and it wasn't that close. The closest place to the small town was Yudao City. It couldn't be ruled out that if it woke up, it might pose a threat to Yudao City. Lin Moyu was indeed uneasy and decided he still needed to go take a look. Lin Moyu said, please give me a detailed report. I'll go take a look. The three ancestors seemed somewhat displeased. I said you don't need to go. Lin Moyu insisted on his own idea. I won't go in, I'll just look from the outside, just in case. The three ancestors said in a low voice, what's there to see? What can you do if you go? Lin Moyu said, at least I'll stand guard outside. If it comes out, I'll drive it towards the mall. You. The three ancestors almost cursed out loud. Lin Moyu actually said this to his face. This was really too shameless. The three ancestors said in a low voice, you're quite a figure yourself. Have some face. Lin Moyu said, you old seniors need face. What face does a little 5th level Dao Venerable like me need? The three ancestors spoke with some helplessness. Your face is really getting thicker and thicker. Alright, I'll give you the information. But you promised not to go in. Also, if that thing really does come out, I'll come to deal with it. Don't do anything rash. That thing is very dangerous. Just stay far away. Lin Moyu said. Don't worry, I know my limits. Although he didn't know what that thing was, he understood it must be very dangerous. If it wasn't powerful, they wouldn't have created it to fight against outside forces back then. And from the three ancestors' words, it was clear that even the three ancestors were somewhat wary of it. Although Lin Moyu thought highly of himself, he hadn't reached the point where he could stand shoulder to shoulder with the three ancestors. ko-fi.com/translate-toki only donate if you want to. My Patreon is now up. Go to email protected translate toki. Remove the @ symbol and type a. Chapter 3500. 3500. Chapter 3500. There's no such thing as foolproof in this world. After some persistent negotiation with the three ancestors, Lin Moyu finally obtained the information related to the small town. After closing the formation, Lin Moyu carefully read through the information and understood what was going on. The small town was indeed part of a relic from beyond the sky. Originally, the three ancestors had planned to take Lin Moyu to this relic, but when opening the passage, there was a problem with the formation. This relic from beyond the sky was originally hidden in a space between layers. The problem with the formation caused part of the relic to enter the space of the origin continent. Later, the three ancestors had been trying to send it back, but that required repositioning the space, which couldn't be done in just a day or two. Fortunately, the three ancestors later found that space and set up the formation, just waiting for that space to be relatively close to the origin continent to send it away. The information told Lin Moyu that the small town wasn't safe, with dangers everywhere. Ordinary Dao venerables would have difficulty moving around inside. The three ancestors could let others go in without worry, but not Lin Moyu, because he wasn't sure if these dangers could stop Lin Moyu. The information also said that the being sleeping in the center of the small town was actually a powerful war puppet. It was created back then to deal with powerful beings from the Black Blood realm. Its strength was very powerful, not much weaker than an average Great Dao realm being. That's why the three ancestors were so wary of it. Because it was a puppet, the Great Dao wouldn't punish it, so it could act unrestrained on the origin continent. After reading the information, Lin Moyu still decided to go and see for himself. If that thing really came out, at least he couldn't let it threaten Yudao City. Leaving the Lufeng Chamber of Commerce, Lin Moyu directly used teleportation to leave Yudao City. He teleported hundreds of thousands of miles away, then got on the cloud-piercing sword and flew through the sky. Soon, a not-so-large small town appeared in Lin Moyu's view. Looking from the air, the small town was circular, with a diameter of only about 100,000 meters. This is. Lin Moyu looked at the small town, reminded of the Dao Protection Fortress. The Dao Protection Fortress had 360 caves, each cave being a formation eye. This circular small town was the same as the caves in Riftwind Cliff. It was also a formation eye. The circular plate under the small town was a formation disc serving as a formation eye. But while it was a formation eye, it was also a military camp. It wasn't a military camp for cultivators to live in. Judging by the layout of the small town, this was a camp for storing puppets. It seems the main fighting force of this Dao Protection Fortress is mainly puppets, Lin Moyu murmured softly, while activating his undead eye. Under the undead eye, numerous soul flames appeared in the small town. These soul flames were all from cultivators who had gone in to explore, numbering several hundred, which wasn't a small amount. They were distributed throughout the small town, but all were in the outskirts, unable to approach the center. Besides these cultivators, Lin Moyu also saw a special soul flame in the center of the small town. This soul flame wasn't the kind that living beings should have, but the soul flame of a spirit. The soul flame was flickering very slowly, seemingly in a deep sleep. This must be the one the three ancestors mentioned. It's indeed sleeping and doesn't look like it will wake up anytime soon. After seeing it with his own eyes, Lin Moyu felt a bit more at ease. However, he didn't plan to leave just yet. He wanted to stay and watch until the small town left before he could feel completely reassured. The three ancestors were making final preparations, and the small town would remain here for another 10 days or so. The human emperor was clever not to let people from Yudao City come. Indeed, they shouldn't come. The small town wasn't safe, and there wouldn't be any gains. At the same time, Lin Moyu found something strange. With the three ancestors' ability, why would the formation they set up have problems? This shouldn't happen. When the three ancestors mentioned earlier that their formation had problems, their tone seemed a bit different. If the problem wasn't on the three ancestors' side, Lin Moyu didn't believe the three ancestors would really make a mistake in the formation. If it wasn't the three ancestors' problem, he had to consider some conspiracy theories. Back then, there was a group of people trying to rebel against the Beast Emperor. And when the Beast Emperor went to deal with this matter, there was no follow-up. Could there be similar people on the three ancestors' side, secretly tampering with things? He knew the three ancestors wouldn't easily appear in person. For setting up formations, at most they would give some instructions from behind the scenes, which would give people opportunities to tamper. Lin Moyu wasn't sure if his thoughts were correct. He had no certainty, and even felt a bit ridiculous for being too conspiratorial. If someone is really sabotaging things behind the scenes, then letting the small town fall down must be just the first step. The second step should be to wake up that thing inside, causing chaos. How strong is this puppet that even the three ancestors are so wary of it? Lin Moyu sat cross-legged in the air, waiting quietly. Almost no one discovered his presence. The sun and moon, the two great origins, alternated, and in the blink of an eye, 3 days had passed. Calculating the time, in another 10 days, the three ancestors would send the small town back to where it should be. At the moment when the moon and sun origins alternated for the fourth time, a streak of light flew over from afar. Recently, many people had been coming to explore the small town, coming and going, so a streak of light wasn't strange at all. But Lin Moyu suddenly opened his eyes as if by premonition, and his spiritual sense sent out a faint warning. In the streak of light was a person in a black robe. Lin Moyu frowned. This black-robed person's aura was very similar to the one he encountered when killing Yan Bei. Sure enough, without thinking, Lin Moyu lightly pointed his finger. Space distorted, and the skeleton hell appeared in response. Just as the skeleton hell appeared, the black-robed person's speed suddenly increased. The speed was so fast that even Lin Moyu felt shocked. The black-robed person seemed to teleport, crossing a distance of nearly 100,000 kilometers in less than 0.1 seconds, rushing into the small town. Lin Moyu was shocked inwardly. This speed has already surpassed the 9th level of Dao Venerable. He knew this wasn't the speed the black-robed person should have. The black-robed person's own aura wasn't even that of a 7th level elder. He must have used some special treasure to instantly possess such speed. Lin Moyu felt somewhat helpless. There's really no such thing as foolproof in this world. Even he couldn't possibly cover all bases. There would always be a flaw even in the most perfect plan. Now that the person had entered the small town, Lin Moyu didn't follow in. He wanted to see what the other party could do. But he didn't just wait idly. Instead, he began to draw divine runes. Several divine runes flew out, forming a not too complex divine rune formation, about 4th grade. After the formation had been running for over 10 seconds, the three ancestors' voice suddenly came from within the formation. How did you contact here? The three ancestors' voice clearly carried surprise, showing shock that Lin Moyu could directly contact them. Lin Moyu said, this formation isn't difficult. After looking at it a few times, I naturally learned it. The reason I'm contacting you is to let you know that someone rushed into the small town, not sure what they're going to do. The three ancestors said, what kind of person? Lin Moyu said, I don't know their identity. I've seen them once in the northern continent. Those people seem to be trying to oppose the Beast Emperor. Lin Moyu recounted what had just happened, and the three ancestors couldn't help but fall into deep thought. ko-fi.com/translate-toki only donate if you want to. My Patreon is now up. Go to email protected translate toki. Remove the @ symbol and type a